Never happened before by week 11. The first of those games is tonight, the Eagles and Commanders in Philly. ESPN's Sal Paolantonio says the Eagles will be focusing on their run game.
They want to try to keep Jaden Daniels and that Cliff Kingsbury offense off the field, and the way to do that is to control the clock, get good field position, stay ahead of the sticks, all that stuff that makes you a consistent offense.
Sal Paolantonio on game night. The other two games involving teams with at least 7 wins, Ravens at Steelers, Chiefs at Bills. Both of those games on Sunday. The Tampa Bay Rays will play their home games at the Yankee Minor League Complex in Tampa. The timeline to repair Tropicana Field is still uncertain. The Guinness World Record holder as the tallest teenager in the world, 7'9" Canadian Olivier Rioux, will redshirt this year for the Florida Gators. If he plays next year, he'll be the tallest player in college basketball history.
Here's one stat that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. With Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. Presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muse. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. My goodness, we got a lot to do today. Darren Tietgen later this hour. Lee Sterling next hour. Sean Kelly, our friend, the voice of the Gators, and Mike Triplett in hour 3. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well. Those sneaky, deep-pocketed Michigan Wolverines. They just won't quit, will they? I tell you what. I guess it makes sense when you're in the midst of a 5-5 season under a first-year head coach. Only 4 teams in America are worse at throwing the football than you are. 2 of them are service academies. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that you might dig deep into those pockets to see if you could convince Bryce Underwood to eschew his commitment to the LSU Tigers and stay home and play for the Wolverines. Have you heard the latest? On3 is reporting that Michigan's NIL offer for Bryce Underwood, the 5-star number 1 quarterback and number 1 player in the country, for 2025 is a 4-year, $10.5 million offer. So I have sat here for many weeks at this point, and told you all the reasons why Bryce Underwood is going to stick with his LSU commitment. I'll run through them again very quickly. Number 1, he, in no particular order, by the way, he loves Joe Sloan. They text every day. Bryce Underwood was 12 years old in 2019. Early memories of LSU: Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. The swaggiest football team ever. Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. A few years later, here comes Jaden Daniels, another Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Development. Bryce Underwood has said on the record he's thinking not so much short-term NIL money. How do I set myself up with development for long-term NFL money? You look at Joe Burrow, you look at Jaden Daniels, their rookie deals, the $400 million deal that Joe Burrow signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, that's a lot more impressive than the short-term NIL deal. All of those things. Some of the other things we've heard, quite honestly, he just doesn't appear to be someone who's super fond of the idea of being a Michigan man. I think that's great for some. It's not great for everyone. I think he likes the culture around LSU better, wants to play in the South, wants to be at LSU. He showed up on LSU's campus this past weekend, Bryce Underwood did. He showed up on campus with a diamond-studded gold tiger chain. I mean, the adoring fans for Bryce Underwood at Tiger Stadium were massively impressive. Here's the chain for those that might have missed it. I mean, it's the Mike the Tiger head chain that he had on him. He put on his Instagram story. So listen, they're adoring fans. If you're watching here, this video is courtesy of WBRZ and Michael Cobble, so thank you for that. It's Bryce Underwood on the sideline with Jamal Adams. I mean, there's so many reasons why Bryce Underwood has been committed solidly for nearly a year now. And, as we've said many times as well, Bryce Underwood, I'm going to get to the offer here in a second. Bryce Underwood has not even taken a visit to Michigan. He lives 30 minutes from Ann Arbor. He lives 30 minutes from that campus and has not taken a visit to Michigan's campus since July of 2023. That means he hasn't been on campus since Sharon Moore has been the head coach. It's going to be hard to flip him. And the thing I've pretty consistently said is the one thing that could do it is if some team comes along and boom, drops the Godfather offer on him, right? The offer you can't refuse. And some people look at this offer and go, there it is. There's that offer you can't refuse. Let's peel back the layers of the onion a little bit, okay? Work with me. This is a good Uncle Scone moment where I say, look, come here. I know, calm down. Okay, get it out. Let it out. Okay, now come here. Come sit on Uncle Scone's lap. Come on. We're going to talk about it. We'll have this conversation. We'll let you know what's going on. Similar to whenever a lot of y'all freaked out when Jaden Daniels didn't win the Maxwell. Is he going to lose the Heisman? No. Lots of players win the Maxwell and don't win the Heisman. Anyway, lots of players get $10.5 million NIL offers and pass on them. So consider this. The NIL offer that's being reported, $10.5 million over 4 years. That comes out to, if you're just doing the math, that comes out to $2.625 million per year. Let's call it $2.6 million. Okay, that is a very impressive number. However, I don't think anyone assumes at this point Bryce Underwood is going to be in school for 4 years. I don't think Bryce Underwood assumes that. Maybe he will be, but when you're this transcendent, generational number one, when you're Trevor Lawrence, when you're Bryce Young, when you're that guy, when you're C.J. Stroud, like you're not thinking I'm going to go to school for 4 or 5 years. You're thinking 3 years and I'm in the league. So Bryce Underwood sees that. He goes, all right, $2.6 million per year. That's very, very generous. But over 3 years, that actually equates to about $7.8 million, which is still a very, very strong number. And I'm telling you, the conversations I've had, LSU's number is not that. However, LSU's number is very generous, and the gap between LSU's number and Michigan's number, even this one, isn't significant enough for Bryce Underwood to want to turn on his commitment and flip to Michigan, because he's still thinking in a long-term vantage point, because that's how LSU has sold him. Hey, don't look at how much money can you make in 3 years in NIL. How much money can you make in NIL while you're on a college campus, and which college campus that is that's going to best prepare you to make the most amount of money at the next level. And look at the LSU track record of quarterbacks and the receivers coming through here and throwing the football. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier, despite the turnovers this year and the past 2 games that have a lot of people concerned, Garrett Nussmeier has thrown for 2,800 yards and 21 touchdowns. You have 3 games to go in the regular season. He's going to end up behind only Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels in single-season passing. And actually, he's got a shot to pass Jaden Daniels' passing total of a year ago. I mean, it may end up that Garrett Nussmeier this year ends up only behind Joe Burrow's single-season passing total. The other thing that's worth keeping in mind whenever we have these money conversations, remember, it is expected that revenue sharing is going to start in 2025. That changes the dynamic of all of this conversation. Because as of right now, all of this money we talk about with NIL, all of this is raised privately through these collectives. Or if it's not a collective, if you have a private donor that's going to contribute however it may be. Once revenue sharing starts, it completely levels the not completely. It more adequately levels the playing field among the haves. Because if you're a collective, if you're a school with deep pockets and you can go fundraise for your roster, great, that's your great advantage right now. But whenever revenue sharing starts, all of the haves are going to earmark the maximum amount of dollars they can for revenue sharing on their football roster because you have to be able to win. So even though LSU today may not be able to raise as much money with the collective as Michigan can't necessarily call Portnoy or however many others, a billionaire donor or whatever, and say we need to get this amount of money raised. Can you help? When revenue sharing starts, how you earmark those funds is going to be up to until and unless we get further clarification. It's going to be up to those individual schools. So what's to say you couldn't tell Bryce Underwood, hey, look, here's the offer now. We'll reassess it when you're here, you're starting. We're going to make sure we take care of you to make sure you get what you need. By the way, if you missed it, just a short time after Bryce Underwood or the On3 report came out of Michigan's offer, Bryce Underwood on his Instagram posted a picture of him in an LSU uniform holding a number 2 chain, like just minutes after that report dropped, seemingly a response to the On3 report. I know there's a lot of people who see that $10.5 million and you think, are we really going to leave him? Look at the context clues everywhere, y'all. Kid was just in Baton Rouge. He and his whole family have made nearly double-digit trips here. He's been committed solidly for almost a year. Hasn't visited another campus. He's been one of LSU's biggest recruiters. The day could come where someone comes and makes him the offer that he can't refuse. What I'm telling you is the report of that 10.5, when you actually break down the numbers and how it compares to what LSU is presently offered and what they will be able to offer with rev share, it closes that gap enough to where it's not enough to make a difference here. Still fully expect Bryce Underwood is going to be an LSU Tiger on December the 4th. All right, it's after further review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. So, Tigers are in Gainesville this weekend. You're going to be watching at your house, at a bar. Maybe you're making the trip to Gainesville. Make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. And, of course, our friends over at Mockler Beverage, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light, Budweiser, great supporters of the Folds of Honor program, which for years they have funded scholarships for the children of our fallen servicemen and women. They've also extended that to include first responders as well, which is just an awesome thing that they do. So when you when you go down the beer aisle, grab that Bud Light and make sure you look for the Bud Light, the Budweiser cans with the Folds of Honor logo as well, and help support these great men and women that give us the freedoms that we enjoy. It's Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Okay, quick break. Come back. Saints continue their preparation for the Cleveland Browns. Get you an injury report. One notable starter was at practice today, but was not participating. I want to talk about that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. If you were even thinking about selling your home, you got to call Darren James. Y'all, listen. Tell you all the time, November, #1 home selling month in this market every year. And what's so awesome about right now is we've started to see interest rates tick down. Let's just be very transparent, okay? When interest rates have been as high as they have been, it's been tough to justify for a lot of people selling their home because you'd have to turn around and buy, and you'd be buying a home with a high interest rate. It's basically kept a lot of people out of the market. Well, as we've seen interest rates come down, what you're starting to see now is a lot of new inventory come onto the market. It's starting to get active again. If you're thinking about selling your home, now is the time to call Darren James to see how quickly he can sell your home and for how much money. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways that you can get involved with the show. We're waiting on the Saints injury report for today, the Saints-Browns official injury report. We do, the media has already had their viewing period during today's practice. Jamal Williams, Trajan Jeffcoat, Lucas Patrick all were absent from practice today. Pete Werner was there, but was just observing. So he was not participating in practice during the media viewing period, but he was there. So it's worth keeping an eye on Pete Werner to see if he's able to go at any point this week. Typically by Friday, if you're not participating, it's hard to imagine that you're going to get ramped up in time to be able to play in a game on Sunday. But But we'll keep an eye there. And then, of course, with Lucas Patrick, if he's not able to go, then what does that mean for the offensive line shuffle? Of course, Shane Lemieux is working back toward playing. You've waived Connor McGovern, so we're all assuming that Eric McCoy is going to start at center. But with McCoy back, if Patrick's out, what do you do at left guard? Is it Lemieux? Does Nick Saldiveri slide in there? Just a couple of the questions we're asking as we get closer here. Against a really good Cleveland Browns defense, of course, that's a Browns front that includes Myles Garrett. This will be most definitely the most significant challenge so far for rookie Taliesin Fuanga, lining up opposite an NFL Defensive Player of the Year, former Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. But one that we'll see if he's up for that challenge this weekend. So we're waiting on that injury report for the New Orleans Saints after practice today. As soon as we'll have it, we'll pass it along to you. But there is something interesting about when Derek Carr met with reporters on Wednesday that he said about how things have transpired under Darren Rizzi that I find really fascinating. I want to get to that here in just a second. We are brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Remember, if you're hitting the road for Gainesville or got Thanksgiving coming up, you're going to be going over the hills and through the woods to grandmother's house for Thanksgiving. You need tires. You need your tires rotated, alignment, balancing, oil change, squeaking brakes, whatever it is. The check engine light is on. Shaw Bills can help you. And, of course, if it's time to buy tires at Shaw Bills, you're going to buy name brand tires at wholesale prices. They guarantee it. It's what they set out as their mission when Mr. Charlie opened the doors back in 1968, 56 years ago now, and that continues to be the mission today with Mr. Charlie's daughter, Miss Beth Barron, who is the CEO of the company now and runs it. Was just named Modern Tire Dealer of the Year, an awesome national award, but so deserved over at Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, we keep you rolling. With the Saints coming out of the game against Atlanta, one of the big takeaways was, of course, the Saints had found such creative ways to lose games under Dennis Allen, like playing Atlanta. And just look at Atlanta. You went to Atlanta earlier this year. You didn't allow an offensive touchdown, yet you managed to lose that game. They had found creative ways to lose earlier this year. You play Atlanta the second time, and you get outgained by 100 yards. You get doubled up on your rushing total. Atlanta one time of possession by nearly 11 minutes. I mean, it was so lopsided on the stat sheet, but you found a way to win the game. You made winning plays at the end of that game. Tyrann Mathieu's interception was certainly key in that. Chase Young strip sack fumble. The blocked field goal at the end of the first half. I mean, all of those plays were winning plays that contributed to you winning the game, things that evaded you under Dennis Allen. And I thought it was so interesting when Derek Carr was meeting with reporters, and this was on Wednesday, and he kind of, and keep in mind, look, Carr's taken his arrows, and he's taken plenty from me. You all know that. My contention has always been he's a good NFL starting quarterback. He's just not a championship starting quarterback. But this is still year 11. This is a man who's played in nearly 200 NFL games at this point. So he's seen an awful lot. So with that context, this comment carries a little more weight.
That's the most plays we've run in a practice in my career, like in a long time.
I don't know what happened there. I think our audio cut out. But doggone it. I think my device are disconnected. Let's try this again. I think I have it back again. Let's try this.
That's the most plays we've run in a practice in my career, like in a long time. And so we got a lot of good reps. At different speeds, of course, but a lot of good reps, a lot of different looks, and hopefully that translates to you get more time on task on something, we get better at it. And so Lord knows we need to be better at what we're doing right now. So Riz laid out some of the things that I'll let him talk about some of the things that he thinks we need to do better, but he also gave us a plan, and we executed that plan today.
So is Derek Carr saying he can't remember a time they ran that many plays in a practice ever in 11 years? Speaking of that Wednesday practice, I'm sorry, you said one number 2 from Rizzi. So you're talking about practice yesterday, Wednesday. So you win the game against Atlanta. obviously Tuesday is an off day in the NFL. They're back at practice on Wednesday. So the first practice of the Browns week, you're not resting on your laurels from beating Atlanta. Derek Carr said it's the most place he's ever run in a practice. Here was Darren Rizzi after Wednesday's practice.
Actually, today went a little bit smoother than last Wednesday. Last Wednesday was a little bit choppy, in my opinion, because it was brand new. I thought we practiced a little bit better today. Last week there was a lot of nuances that maybe we hadn't worked through before and things like that.
You know, I was reminded of this over the weekend. We played this when it happened, but it was last January, and you might remember Amy Trask. Amy Trask was a former front office executive with the Raiders when Dennis Allen was the head coach there, and she does media now. And her title was the CEO. She was the CEO of the Oakland Raiders. And I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but this comment got a lot of attention then, 11 months ago. And I think it still holds a lot of weight, maybe has new meaning given the context now of what's happened with Dennis Allen.
Shortly after Dennis was hired by the Saints, I was asked about him, about his coaching, his leadership on CBS Sports. And I answered in the following manner because now I have an addition to that answer. I shared my views of Dennis's leadership, and I use that word in quotes. And I quickly noted that, look, we can all learn on the job, we can grow on the job, we can improve on the job. I not only grew on my job, I grew up on the job. I grew up on the job, I learned, I made mistakes, and I said, Dennis can do that as well. And what that play made clear to me is he has not changed his leadership style.
There's more. I don't know if you have more there as well, but because she talked further about a lot of the struggles and not feeling like Dennis Allen was a leader of men, and that was after the Jameis Winston play last year. And my contention at the time was when Jameis made that call to get, it's funny that Jameis is now coming into the Dome this weekend, but when Jameis made that decision to get Jamal Williams a touchdown, his team was fired up, and Dennis Allen in the postgame is apologizing for the behavior of the players. He didn't read the room, and I think he lost a lot of those guys at that point. And when you lose a locker room, and you lose their trust, it's darn near impossible to get it back. And I think Dennis Allen lived with that. And so now you see what happened here at the start of this year, and they lose 7 straight, and they're not making winning plays, right? They're finding ways to lose games. And then so abruptly, Darren Rizzi comes in, and there's a game where you get outplayed, but you find a way to win it. It's very clear about face. I'm not saying that the Saints players weren't trying or weren't playing hard. I believe they were. But the intangible nature of culture that people always refer to, it's something you can't ever touch. Like, you can't put your finger on it. But it's something that's built and cultivated. And, I mean, I remember we've talked so much over the years about when Sean Payton came in 2006. You had a losing culture here. And one of the first things he did was uprooted players that were part of that losing culture. Remember, people talked about Wayne Gandy, who was a veteran offensive lineman. Wayne Gandy, there was these stories, he had like a leather recliner at his locker and just didn't give great effort. They got him out. He was a starting offensive lineman. Dante Stallworth was a first-round draft pick. They got rid of him. He was your big play weapon you'd use a first-round pick on. But for Sean, it was more about culture. And after those back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons, in 12, 13, 14, they started to uproot a lot of those guys. They moved Jimmy Graham out. They got rid of Kenny Stills, Junior Gillette. I mean, valuable players, very good, talented players on the field, but they weren't good culture guys. And the culture meant more. And I think that's as much as anything that you saw with Dennis Allen. And Amy Trask told you that almost a year ago. We got a further growing sample size now that validated it, confirmed it, and then you see what happens in one game under Darren Rizzi. And by the way, y'all, the Saints team has major flaws. I'm not telling you that they're going to go on this amazing run where they win 7 straight and they're going to the playoffs. I don't believe that. I think they can win this weekend. I think they can beat the Giants in New York, and I think they can beat the Raiders. I think at best you're talking about a 6-win football team. I think at best this is a 6-11 team. They're just so flawed at spots. They're old. I mean, you were outgained on your home field by 100 yards. Atlanta dominated the time of possession. Like there's going to be that's not always going to go in your favor when you play like that against better teams. So I'm not telling you they're going to turn this thing around and win a ton of games. I'm telling you it's just very clear. Culturally, you had eroded, but very quickly you were able to get it back when you have the right guy in the front of the room. And for right now, it's pretty clear that's Darren Rizzi, the way he's shaking things up. See how they do this week with Cleveland coming to town. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC. Fantasy Blitz in 15 minutes. Darren Tietgen will be here. Mel Kiper's got a new big board out. What's he think about Garrett Nussmeier after the turnover games? We'll get to that. Tiger basketball's up in Manhattan, Kansas to play Kansas State. We'll get your preview in about an hour from right now. Ton to do and glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you want to support a business that supports the Tigers, you need to support Duplessis Builders. I love telling you about Duplessis Builders for a lot of reasons. I mean, Derek Duplessis, great guy, LSU grad, mechanical engineering, minor in aerospace engineering, was working as an engineer, built a pool for his sister, said, hey, I think I can do this, ended up building 8 pools his first year. The next year, boom, built 60 pools. Now they're one of the fastest growing companies in the industry, and the work is immaculate. You have to check it out. I mean, Derek uses his engineering background to make sure they build you a premium product to last. That's why the industry standard for a workmanship warranty on pools is 1 year. Derek at Duplessis Builders, it's a 10-year warranty. They build you a beautiful product that will last, and they stand behind it, and they stand behind the Tigers. Of course, they've done great NIL deals with Kyron Lacey, with 5-star running back Harlem Berry. So you want a beautiful pool, beautiful outdoor kitchen, and support the Tigers? DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
I'm glad you're bored with us here. We'll get to Darren Tietgen in 10 minutes. who2start.net for our fantasy blitz. Before you set your fantasy football roster, check with our guys at who2start.net, who2start.net. Did you see the story where Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce got robbed? They steal anything of importance there? They were burglarized last month, apparently. There was a break-in at Mahomes' residence shortly after midnight, the story goes. And then Kelce's home was burglarized the next day in Leawood, Kansas. The loss at Kelce's home was $21,000, including $20,000 in cash. Mahomes also confirmed that his home was burglarized. I think the biggest thing, by the way, it was while they were at home for the Saints game. Not at home. They were playing the home game. They weren't at home. The Chiefs were playing the home game against the Saints when that happened. It's so interesting. Like, the Mahomes, I don't know anything about either one of their homes, where they live, any of that sort of stuff. But with Kelce in particular, he moved, right? Like, whenever he started dating Taylor Swift, there was the story where he had to move residences for privacy.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah, I remember. He did. He moved, yes.
So you move for privacy into like a gated community or wherever it is, some compound. How does someone break into your house? That's the most that's the most perplexing thing to me. Is this some kind of like Ocean's 11 thing where, I mean, they've got all of the alarms, they've canvassed your house, or like in The Hangover 3 when they go break into the dude's home, John Goodman's home. You know, they got the dog collar they put on Stu so he can climb through the doggy door because he's the small one and can fit. Like, is that what this was? How do you get into Travis Kelce's house? How do you get into Patrick Mahomes' house and root around and find $20,000 in cash as well?
I did see a report, too, on the Mahomes. I think it was from TMZ. There was no sign of forced entry at Mahomes' house either. So that's like, it's like, how does that?
You left the door unlocked.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you figure you live in a gated community, but still, man.
I mean, that's one of the things that is true. Like, I mean, any investigator will tell you, like, carjackers, they're not looking to smash and grab. They're just pulling handles to see who left their car unlocked. So, like, if you leave your car in your driveway, you park on the street, like, never leave stuff in plain sight and lock it every night because people, you never know, even in your neighborhood, are walking by just pulling handles to see what they can get. I would think if you're in Patrick Mahomes' house, like, you're probably good. Maybe it was the gardener.
Could have been something. I mean, like you said, it should narrow the list of suspects, right?
Someone you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Taylor.
I don't think it was Taylor.
Could have been.
I don't think it was, though.
I bet she has the code.
She has the code, but she has no need to steal from anybody.
Do you actually need to steal, or you do it for the high?
I was about to say the thrill. Yeah.
I mean,
could have been. Now I'm coming around to it.
Whenever when you perform in front of tens of thousands of people every night, eventually the thrill of that wears off. You need a thrill seek somewhere else. So you either go bungee jumping, skydiving, or you break into a famous quarterback's home. I'm just saying that everything has to be considered.
It's true.
Believe nothing. Consider everything.
Everything's a suspect. Everyone's a suspect.
Everyone's
right?
a suspect.
Right? Yeah.
Including you, Tay-Tay. Baby, now we got bad blood. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Missouri Tigers.
So Brady Cook missed this past week's win against Oklahoma due to his hand and ankle injuries and officially listed as doubtful on the first availability report for this week. Drew Pine would step up and step in again if Brady Cook can't go. Missouri at South Carolina. Remember, that's a game if you're an LSU fan. You are pulling for the Gamecocks because you and Alabama both played South Carolina, but Alabama played Missouri. So when you look at the cumulative conference record, you want South Carolina to win this game, so Missouri takes that L. It hurts Alabama's cumulative opponent's conference winning percentage.
The Florida Gators.
Another Florida Gator starter has been ruled out for Saturday's game against LSU. Sophomore linebacker Grayson Howard will not play. He was injured last Saturday in the loss to Texas. Played a season-low 17 snaps. 37 tackles on the year. Team-high PFF tackle grade of 87.5. So this is a big loss for the Gators. Sophomore Jaden Robinson will make his first start of the year. Gators now have 11 players out, including 8 starters. That number could grow to 12 starters out, depending on what happens with guys like Lagway, Johnson, Badger, and George.
The Texas Longhorns.
Texas got a commitment from a top 100 cornerback, Grayson Littleton, out of Tampa. Number 72 overall prospect, the 10th best cornerback in the country. He's out of the state of Florida. He's picked Texas. Committed to Clemson back in June. Recently decommitted and now is flipped to Texas. Michigan was in the hunt as well. Texas has 23 commits for 2025.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn has flipped 2025 cornerback Shamar Arno from Southern Cal. He's a 4-star cornerback, been committed to USC. Consensus top 40 corner in the country, 6'2", 175. That means Auburn's now got 4 corners in this class, and they've got 28 players committed for the class of 2025. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical, decisioncriticalbr.com. It's a concierge nursing service. Would love being able to tell you more about Decision Critical here in these past several months. Their founder, owner, Blasia Arsenault, Blasia Rivette, is a good friend. She was a CV nurse when our son Drew was a baby, when we come home from the hospital, and she took great care of our family. It's one of the reasons that I can very confidently endorse Decision Critical. It's just concierge nursing. It is this is healthcare for your lifestyle, from birth to end of life care. Maybe you've received a tough diagnosis. Maybe you're in that generation where your parents are aging and now you are taking care of your elderly parents and you're continuing to work or have a family of your own and you need help. Decision Critical can help. I'll also remind you, HSA and FSA funds are eligible here. Remember, FSA funds, those expire at the end of the year. Those don't roll over. So if you have FSA funds, you need to use them. It's worth giving Decision Critical a shout. Remember, don't let funds and the finances here get in the way. They'll find a way to make this work. These are private duty nurses. They're the best of the best. Every single nurse is handpicked by Blasia Rivette, and I give them my fullest personal endorsement. It's Decision Critical. You can book your consultation. Just reach out to them and have that conversation. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Also, they've got their IV hydration and B12 shots available as well. You could do it in clinic, or they can come to you. Remember, a few weeks back, we had a nurse in studio with us who gave me the IV while I was sitting here on air. So they can come to your home, to your office, whatever. They'll make it easy. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Title sponsor of our Thursday shows all throughout the year. Okay, let me knock on a break, y'all. Darren Tietgen will be here next for our Fantasy Blitz. Before you set your fantasy football roster, check with our guys at whotostart.net. That's whotostart.net. It's AFR.
AFR.
Honest to goodness, true story. Earlier today, got a call from our friends over at River City's 1 Hour Air. I'll tell you exactly what time that call was. It was at 1:22 p.m. Central Time. And we scheduled our preseason heater safety check. It's the thing I tell you all the time to do. I practice what I preach. Erica and I joined the membership club, the maintenance club, years ago. I mean, when we got married, bought our house, we joined the maintenance club. That gets you front-of-the-line service. It gets you membership pricing if you do need any repairs or any work done, and it gets you complimentary seasonal maintenance. So when I tell you all the time about your AC tune-up or your heater safety check, those are complimentary services for members. So the membership pricing effectively pays for itself with the complimentary seasonal maintenance, which will extend the life of your unit, and It'll make your home more efficient, and during the cold weather months, safer as well. It's River City's 1 Hour Air.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off the newly designed Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com. After Further Review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.net.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.net. The Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the bitten?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz, powered by whotostart.net.
Who are you?
All right, let's get it. Big one tonight. JD5 in prime time. Before you set your fantasy football roster, check with our guys at whotostart.net. That's the numeral 2, whotostart.net. Darren Tietgen is with us. How are you, dude?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome, man. We appreciate it as always. Let's start with tonight, man. Jaden Daniels coming off a tough loss last week against Pittsburgh. They're on the road back in the state of Pennsylvania against the Eagles tonight. Commanders, Eagles, what are we looking at?
Yeah, this should hopefully be another, productive game in terms of fantasy. Two defenses that are kind of bend but don't break style. So hopefully see some passing and some rushing production from both teams. Obviously, if you have guys like A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, you're starting those guys. Both quarterbacks are in our top 5 for this week. So should be a good week.
Sleepers, who you got?
I've got a couple for you this week. Running back Alexander Madison. He may have been jettisoned by his former owner after a couple of down weeks, but he's in a good spot this week. It's a good matchup against Miami. Look for him to carry the ball enough to be productive. And then Demarcus Robinson, Rams wide receiver. Either one of Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua is probably going to be covered by a shutdown corner there in Christian Gonzalez for the Patriots. So look for Demarcus Robinson to maybe step up and catch one of those touchdowns. So those starts are 2 for the week.
All right, get your questions in for Darin. Let's get going right here. First one comes in via our app. This is a listener named Victoria. She says, Darin, who to start, Brian Thomas Jr. or Cedric Tillman?
Yeah, I think, with the quarterback change, with Lawrence out, I think Thomas takes a slight hit. Obviously, he's also nursing a chest injury. So I think I like Tillman coming back from bye.
Another one, quarterback question, who to start, Joe Burrow or Josh Allen?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, both of those guys are, if you're looking at, those guys each week, you might want to trade one of those guys. Always going to be in our top 5 or 6 wide receiver or quarterbacks. We have them at 5 and 6 this week. So you really can't go wrong. Allen has a little bit of a tougher matchup. I think I'm going to go Allen very close there, though.
Here's one from BJ. PPR, second wide receiver. He's got Devontae Smith or Jerry Jeudy. Who to start?
Yeah, I'm going to play Smith tonight. I mean, he's been a little bit up and down. But on the games that he's been down, it's because the team's been up really big and they just haven't had the need to throw to him. So Devontae should see quite a few targets tonight. We're going to go with Smith.
Lance says, who to start, DK Metcalf or Aaron Jones, PPR league at the flex spot. DK Metcalf or Aaron Jones, who to start?
Yeah, I think it's maybe a little bit too early in the week to know which the injury status to both guys. If both guys are healthy, I think you'd go with DK, but you might want to check in on Saturday to see what the practice reports look like for both guys. But right now, in a vacuum, I would go with DK.
Greg, who to start? He needs 2 of the 3, so I guess this is a who to sit. But he's got Najee Harris, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, half a PPR league.
I think in a half PPR, especially with Tajay Spears back, it looks like your Pollard is probably going to be your guy that you're going to want to sit for at least another week.
Gabe, he's got another who to bench, so I guess who to sit. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, Brian Thomas Jr., or DK Metcalf.
Yeah, again, with the Metcalf injury, I think you might want to probably bench him unless it comes out where he's 100% and definitely not going to miss any snaps. The other 2 guys look like better starts, but if it comes out on Saturday, things might change.
Darren Tietgen's with us, who2start.net, numeral 2, who2start.net. Get your personalized fantasy football advice. Make sure you get to the website. See if we get a couple of more in here. Lane said he's got Njoku or Hawkinson, PPR league. Who to start?
Man, I like both of them a lot this week. If you could start one as your flex, maybe you plug one as a flex. But I think if you're looking at one, I guess go with Hawkinson. He's going to see quite a few targets this week.
And Dylan, quarterback question. He's got Kirk Cousins or Drake May. Who to start?
Don't really like Cousins' matchup too much. Denver's presented a problem, especially in Mile High Stadium. Drake May's got a little bit better matchup, but doesn't have quite the weapons that Cousins does. I think it's going to be close, but I think I'll just go with Cousins.
Darren Tietgen, who2start.net, personalized fantasy football advice. Been doing this for a long time, and we appreciate Darren jumping aboard with us every single Thursday. Didn't get your question on air. Make sure you get to the website. It's the numeral 2, who2start.net, who2start.net. Darren, always appreciate it, man. Enjoy the football this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, man. Be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. As they often say at Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. And when they say the world, they mean it. They continue to expand and grow. They are our nation's largest distributor of scales. And how about this partnership that they just announced? Michelli welcoming the American Scale Company to the Michelli family, continuing to extend their reach, elevate their weighing and measuring services nationwide, and committed to setting the standard in accuracy and innovation. So welcome to our friends over at American Scale, the American Scale Company, now joining with Michelli Weighing and Measurement. You can learn more on their social media or online at Michelli.com, Michelli, Michelli.com. Sea to shining sea. More than 30 different locations across a dozen different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Get a list of all the services that they offer, all the industries that they serve, how you can ship your precision measurement equipment to them, or they can do mobile on-site calibration. Learn more at Michelli.com, M-I-C-H-E-L-L-I, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. We talked about this in Around the SEC. We'll get to SportsCenter here in just a quick second, and then when we come back, Mel Kiper put out his latest big board. Interesting update on Garrett Nussmeier, who's struggled the past couple of weeks. So we'll get to that here in just a second. But if you missed it Around the SEC, Grayson Howard, a starting linebacker for Florida, has been ruled out for the Gators this weekend. That's at least 8 starters that'll miss the game against LSU. DJ Lagway officially questionable for the kick off against LSU.
AFR.
Hey, if you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. I've been telling you that for more than a year now, but they've been proving that for more than a century now. It's First South Farm Credit. It doesn't matter if you're looking to buy your own recreational property. You know, it's hunting season right now. A lot of hunters are out in the woods, and maybe you share a lease, and you're tired of sharing a lease with somebody else. You want your own property. Well, First South Farm Credit can make that happen. Of course, if you're looking to buy that acreage to build your family's dream home, First South Farm Credit can make that happen. Maybe we're getting near the end of the year. You're thinking about tax purposes. Talk to your CPA. Buying timberland could be a great investment property for you. Talk to your CPA and then call First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com.
Let's talk turkey. Bayou Ford can get you in a new 2024 Ford F-150 with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off America's favorite F-150 truck. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Burtman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Tonight in Philadelphia, it's the first meeting of the season between the Eagles and the Commanders. ESPN's Adam Schefter says, look at the standings. This is a big game, especially for Washington.
They would move into first place now. Having won in Philadelphia, it would make a statement not only for tonight, not only for this season, but I think for seasons to come, that we have a quarterback that's ready to dominate in the NFC East.
Adam Schefter on Get Up. Adam also reports the Chiefs will put kicker Harrison Butker on IR with a knee injury. He'll have arthroscopic surgery. 6 players have now decommitted from next year's recruiting class at Florida State. Mike Norvell's Seminoles are 1-9. He fired 3 assistant coaches on Sunday. The latest player to decommit is 4-star quarterback Tramel Jones from Jacksonville. With the uncertainty about Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, the Rays will play their 2025 home games at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, part of the Yankees' spring training facility.
Here's one stat that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. With Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing service. Matt?
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Lee Sterling, later this hour, we'll get Lee's picks of the biggest games of the weekend, including LSU and Florida. Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators, 1 hour from right now. Also in hour 3, Mike Triplett will be here. We'll talk a little Saints and Browns. Mel Kiper updated his latest big board. And I feel like I always have to throw out the caveat, although I think you understand this. This is not a mock draft. This is just Mel Kiper ranking the top 25 players overall in the draft, and then the top 10 at each position. It's just one person's opinion. It's not necessarily say he's right. It's just Mel Kiper, someone everybody knows, and to a large degree respects for his abilities to scout, draft, and his connections, all that sort of stuff. Says Travis Hunter's the best player in the draft. Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, number 2. Abdul Carter, the outside linebacker from Penn State, number 3. Michael Williams, the outside linebacker from Georgia, spent a lot of this year injured, number 4. Mason Graham, the big defensive tackle from Michigan, at 5. Kelvin Banks, the big offensive tackle from the University of Texas, at 6. Shadur Sanders, Colorado, at 7. Nick Scorton, defensive end from Texas A&M, the Purdue transfer, saw him earlier this year, at 8. Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia, 9. Ashton Genty, the Boise State running back, at 10. Followed by Cam Ward, Jalen Walker from Georgia. A lot of Georgia defensive guys on here, man. To Troy McMillan from Arizona, the big wide receiver. James Pierce, the outside linebacker from Tennessee, at 14. Kenneth Grant, another Michigan guy, defensive guy, at 15. Boy, Michigan should be better. If only they had an offense. Jihad Campbell, LSU saw him last week. The Alabama linebacker at 16. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle from Oregon, 17. Luther Burden, 18. And then there's Will Campbell holding steady at number 19, the 19th best player in the draft, according to Mel Kiper. The only LSU player that Kiper has on his big board, again, the top 25 overall players at different times this year. Emory Jones and Harold Perkins had been on that list, but obviously we know what's happened here with injuries to Harold Perkins, and maybe Emory Jones at times having struggled this year, as a lot of the LSU offensive line has struggled at times this year. But still, when you go by position, Kiper thinks very highly of those 4 guys I just mentioned. maybe the most interesting tidbit here is Kiper having Garrett Nussmeier 4th among his quarterbacks. And ranking the top 10 quarterbacks, he goes Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe, which you know how I feel about that. That's a total joke. God help the New Orleans Saints if they draft Jalen Milroe. Garrett Nussmeier, 4, followed by Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, Drew Aller, Curtis Rourke, Jackson Dart down at 9, and then Dylan Gabriel 10. Just to sort of clear the deck here, if you're wondering about the offensive linemen, the only other players that Kiper has from LSU, he's got, I had it. Forgive me, I scrolled past it. Tight ends, he's got Mason Taylor, the 3rd best tight end. And as far as the offensive tackles, he's got Campbell 2 and Jones 6. As far as the linebackers, Harold Perkins, the 4th best off-ball linebacker, and Braden Swinson, the 4th best outside linebacker. Couple things. I know there's a lot of people who have become maybe increasingly frustrated, and understand, with Nussmeier, with the turnovers the past couple weeks, and wondering what that's going to mean for Nuss. Does it hurt his draft stock? Does he come back for another year? Does he enter the transfer portal? There's a lot of options there. And there's a pretty big variety of opinions on Garrett Nussmeier. And I will be very interested to see what happens with the draft process, because he should get feedback from agents and from the NFL to see where they might project him. And remember, the NFL projects him as a first-round pick, like a day 2 pick, or go back to school. Is kind of what the feedback they give. So I'll see what they say. We'll all see what they say. It'll be interesting. The scuttle around LSU is that Doug Nussmeier, Garrett's dad, wants Garrett to return to school for another year. It makes sense. I mean, he's a coach. He wants to see his son develop. Just been 1 year as a starter. You've seen what's happened with guys like Burrow and Daniels when they went back for their 5th year, their 2nd year as a starter. They hit that big boom, and that could happen for Garrett. What'll be interesting, though, is if he is projected as a first-round pick this year, you have to go. In the NFL, I mean, I have watched NFL teams use first-round picks on guys like E.J. Manuel and Jake Locker. We watched Zach Wilson and Mitchell Trubisky go number 2 overall after starting for 1 year. It's something that happens in the NFL. They look at the talent at the most important position, and they'll reach for guys. And that could certainly happen to Nuss. I mean, Mel Kiper's telling you Nussmeier is the 4th best quarterback in this draft. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think he's wrong having Jalen Milroe ahead of Garrett Nussmeier. Milroe is a dynamic runner, but you saw it last week. He is an inaccurate vertical thrower. He's not good in the vertical passing game, which you have to be in the NFL. So I just don't agree with him where he slots Milroe. And fair or unfair, I think a lot of teams are going to look at Anthony Richardson, who is a dynamic athlete with a really strong arm, but has been a miserable transition at quarterback in the NFL. And they may hold that against Jalen Milroe. And you could say, well, what about Jaden Daniels? He's an athletic quarterback. The difference is Jaden Daniels was a sniper last year throwing the ball. That's inarguable. He's as accurate a thrower as we've ever seen, certainly the deep ball as well. So, no, it's not the same thing. You can be an athletic quarterback who can make plays with your feet and also be a great thrower. Jalen Milroe has one of those things, not both. Garrett Nussmeier has one of those things. He's a better thrower and obviously hasn't shown any ability really to run. Does that hurt him? We'll see. But I'll continue to dig my feet in, y'all. You want Garrett Nussmeier back. It's so interesting to me how quickly and how fickle fans can be and how conversations can turn. Because, look, a lot of y'all, you know who you are. I mean, I could go run through Twitter and call out names, but you know who you are. A lot of y'all wanted Jaden Daniels benched last year after Florida State. A lot of y'all called for Jaden to be benched his whole first year as a starter. A lot of y'all wanted Jaden Daniels to throw interceptions. Why is he holding on to the ball so long? So he doesn't turn it over. Wouldn't you love to see that the last 2 games? How different is the outcome? Certainly the Texas A&M outcome. Eat it. Anyway. And you saw how it panned out. There's no substitute for experience at the most important position on the field. Oklahoma is the cautionary tale. They ran Dillon Gabriel out so they could play their 5-star in Jackson Arnold, and look how that went. Gabriel's the front runner for the Heisman of the number one team in the country. Jackson Arnold's already been benched, and he's struggling his way through a redshirt freshman year right now at Oklahoma. Be careful what you ask for. One of the other really interesting parts of that big board from Mel Kiper is Shedeur Sanders. So Kiper ranks Shedeur as the number one quarterback in this draft. And I probably agree with him, by the way. Shedeur, Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe, Nussmeier, Ewers, Beck, Aller, Rourke, Dart, and Dillon Gabriel. Dion was on FS1 and confirmed again that he will pull a Manning, an Eli Manning, a John Elway if he needs to, if the wrong team is stepping up to draft his son.
Will you step in and do some of that if it's the wrong organization and say he ain't going there?
Yeah, but I'm not going to do it publicly. I'll do it privately.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Dad, the cows come home. Yes, sir. And with Travis as well.
He said him with Travis as well, by the way. And Dion has said that all along, that he'll be at Colorado for as long as Travis and Shedeur are there, which means after this year he might jump. Much easier to win when you got a great quarterback, which he does right now in his son. But he did also elaborate a little more on the type of team he wants Shedeur drafted to.
Somebody that can handle the quarterback that he is, somebody that can handle understanding that what he's capable of, someone that has had success in the past handling quarterbacks, or someone in an organization understands what they're doing, not just throwing you out there amongst the wolves. You don't have the support in the infrastructure of the team. Forget the line. He's played with lines that hadn't been great, but he's been able to do his thing. But just the infrastructure of the team and the direction of where we're going.
I would love to see Shedeur Sanders in New Orleans, to be very clear. Like, I would love to see the Saints use a first-round pick on a quarterback, and I do think Shedeur Sanders is going to be awesome. Like, if you just, like, scoreboard, like box score read and headline watch, you're not seeing it. But Shedeur Sanders last year was awesome, despite having a horrendous offensive line and being bludgeoned the whole season. He kept getting up, kept coming forward, and he was the best thing they had on that team. And this year, you're seeing him take that to a next level as well. I would love to see Shedeur Sanders in New Orleans. I don't know that that's realistic, because I think there's a great chance he goes number one overall, and the Saints aren't going to have the number one pick. If Carolina, for example, has the number one pick, or the Giants have the number one pick, are they going to pull the trigger on a quarterback, even though they've recently taken young quarterbacks? Bryce Young, Daniel Jones. We'll see. But the Saints are going to be in the mix somewhere around there to take a quarterback or to move up to take a quarterback. Dion's been pretty adamant there. He's going to make sure that Shedeur doesn't go to the wrong situation. That's why, if you were here yesterday, we talked about it on this spot on the show. How desirable of a job will New Orleans be for that head coach? Who the Saints hire to be the next head coach could be pretty critical as well as to what they do in the draft and what they do at the future of that quarterback position. One thing to keep an eye on, though, is if you do draft your future at quarterback, remember, you are bound to Derek Carr for another year. So it could be a situation where whoever you draft, you bring him in to sit for a year behind Derek Carr and then turn the reins over in 2026. Just file it away, something to keep an eye on as we move throughout these coming days, weeks, and months. All right, brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. In Louisiana, y'all, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when the power goes out. Storm will come, sometimes even in the winter, an ice storm like we saw a couple of years ago. The power goes out. If you have a Generac automatic home standby generator, boom, immediately your power is on like nothing ever happened. Runs everything. Your HVAC system, even your pool. Everything. And I know what you're thinking. Matt, I can't afford that. Think again. At Optimize, there's three things that set them apart. Number one, turnkey installation. They handle everything. They'll get the permitting. They'll talk to the electric company. They'll make sure everything is done. Turnkey. Number two, the price quote guarantee. The price they quote to you is the price you pay. No change orders. They're not going to add anything on. There's no surprise fees. The price they quote you is it. And number three, $600 down payment. Look, if you got the cash, you want to pay for the whole thing up front, awesome. But if you're thinking, God, I'd love to put a generator in, I just don't know if I could swing it financially, $600 down payment. They have financing for any budget, so you stay in control of your finances. Look, a generator is a commodity. You could buy the same exact product from any number of companies. Why should you choose Optimize? Because they are the generator people. All they do is sell, service, and install Generac automatic home standby generators. They're not an electrical company that does generators on the side. They're not an HVAC company that does generators on the side. They're not a plumber that does generators on the side. All they do is generators. All their technicians do all day is service and install Generac automatic home standby generators. They're the generator people. It's Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Okay, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We'll knock out a break. We'll get to what to watch in about 15 minutes from right now. Lee Sterling in 30 minutes from right now, giving us his best bets for the weekend. We'll step away from football briefly. LSU basketball, they're in Manhattan to take on Kansas State tonight. Matt McMahon give you a quick thumbnail preview of LSU and Kansas State next on AFR.
After Further Review.
Man, if your business is looking to hire here in the end of 2024 or moving into 2025, make sure you include Glow Resources. Make sure Glow Resources is a part of that process for your business, because Glow Resources helps businesses by finding the right people to make you more efficient. If you've had trouble finding the right people who show up on time, finding the right people to make you more efficient, more productive, you need Glow Resources. Hey, look, when you call over to Glow Resources, ask for Casey in the professional placement division. They specialize in office administration, if it's executive level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, a scheduling assistant, basically any type of office job, accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. They do it all. And they can move quickly based on your timeline. It's Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
They're playing really unselfishly on the offensive end of the floor, 20 assists a game. They're shooting it exceptionally well from three, where we've been really strong defending the three through 2 games. That will certainly be put to the test there. On the defensive side of the ball, great schemes, very unique coverages. It's disruptive. They're forcing 16 turnovers a game there. The rim protection has been fantastic. So really talented team and a great opportunity. It'll be a phenomenal environment, sold out crowd. So looking forward to the trip to Manhattan.
Yeah, Kansas State has been pretty good at home as well. They were 19-15 a year ago. The Wildcats were. They were 14-3 at home in Manhattan. I like this very much. There's a lot of reasons to go play this game if you're LSU. You could, understanding part of what your roster is and turning over about half your roster from a year ago, which that's going to happen every year in the portal era. You're going to bring in guys that are one and dones. I mean, Jordan Wright was such a key component to your team. He was your best player a year ago, and obviously he's gone. Will Baker's gone. I mean, guys that were your top scorers, top producers a year ago were one and dones, and they're gone. So that's going to be a component of this as you try to continue to build through the recruiting rankings. And so there's some school of thought to say, just load the front of your schedule with very winnable, favorable games so you can go build some confidence. I'd rather this. I'd rather go on the road against a Power 4 opponent in a very tough place to play to expose your guys to this environment, because you're going to see that night in and night out in conference play. We talk about it often during baseball season as well. LSU could set up and play 3 weekends in all your midweek games at Alec Box Stadium in front of a bunch of fans that are cheering for you, and you could blow out bad teams. Or you can go on the road to Minute Maid. You can go to Frisco. You can go play at Texas. You can go play a road series to see what it's like to play somewhere else when people aren't cheering for you. I think it's the same thing Matt McMahon is doing here. And it may not go well for LSU. Tigers are a 7.5-point dog in Manhattan tonight. And maybe they go on the road and play really well. LSU was just 3-7 on the road a year ago. It was something where they struggled. Now, look, that was a team a year ago that was still building as Matt McMahon was still building. I mean, I've said this so many times. Year one for McMahon was a total punt. It was a punt. You inherited an awful situation. You still had looming sanctions hanging over your head. It was impossible to recruit, not knowing if you were going to get hit with the postseason ban, scholarship restrictions. So year one was awful. You just had to put your head down and get through it. They did. Matt McMahon comes back in year two with all that finished. And last year, they pushed past 500. It was at 17-16 overall. You finished smack dab in the middle of the conference. It was a great stepping stone year. You got into postseason play. Now with another year of building, I really like what they did in the portal going to get these guards. I mean, Cam Carter scored 21 the other night in the win over Alabama State. Jai Bailey looks really good as well. I mean, you went and got these veteran guards. So, I don't want to start talking about March yet, but we all know the old adage, you can't win in March without good guard play. They have it. They have good guard play. They have veteran guard play. We'll see if the Tigers have enough scoring. I really like Damian Collins as well. The Kentucky transfer gives you some rim protection. We're going to see this team continue to build. I don't know that the result's going to be what we want tonight. Again, the Tigers were on the road where they were bad a year ago in a place in Kansas State where they are good at home. It's going to be a packed house and a really good crowd. And it may not go your way, but I want to see how they perform. I'm not sitting here telling you need to look for moral victories. But when you look at the net rating, a lot of times it's going to benefit you to have played a potential quad 1 game and lost on the road than staying at home and playing a quad 3, quad 4 team and beating them by 30. Like, this is going to be a net ranking game that at the end of the season, if Kansas State is the type of team we think they could be, or probably should be in the Big 12 this year, that's going to help you in that net ranking by the time it comes Selection Sunday time. And this is a team that on Selection Sunday that I believe should hear their name called. We'll see if they can live up to it as they move throughout. By the way, McMahon was asked when he met with reporters before they headed to Manhattan about facing adversity early in the schedule, like going on the road to play this game against a good opponent instead of staying, in the friendly, comfortable confines of the Maravich Center.
Yeah, not ideal for game 2, but I think it was much needed. It was really the first time we've faced adversity with this group. Down 10 with 13 minutes to go, could have folded, but I thought stayed focused on doing the things we needed to do to get the win. I believe went 36-12 from that point to the close of the game. So you hope you learned a lot of lessons, both why you got down by 10 and then the things that we got accomplished on both ends of the floor to get a double-digit win, being in that situation, and especially going on the road for the first time. We know there's going to be some adversity there. So I think it does benefit us to have gone through a little bit on Sunday.
So my apologies. He talked about it there at the end, but really it was about the adversity they faced against Alabama State, which was, they were down double digits at home, and really at about the under 8 mark is where they kind of hit that kick. I think it was like a 34-11 run they went on to finish the game and won by double digits. So they got it together, cranked up the defensive intensity. Alabama State went ice cold, and LSU ran away from them. We'll see how the Tigers fare tonight. It's an 8 o'clock tip. 8 o'clock tip. It's on ESPN Plus, so you got to stream the game if you want to watch it. Of course, you can listen on Eagle 98.1, the flagship for the LSU Sports Radio Network and our sister station here in the Baton Rouge area. So if you want to catch the Tigers tonight, we think McMahon's going to be suited tonight. I don't know if I was told today that it may not be a suit game for Matt McMahon.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. If this is going to be I don't know if this is going to be a thing that goes either or.
Yeah. Well,
in favor of suits.
I like the sweats personally, but
You would, Smalls.
You're a coach. They want to be comfortable. I understand.
You're right. You're a coach. You make millions of dollars. Look like the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company.
He doesn't wear a suit every day. I don't understand why that's a thing. Anyway, after the first game when he wore it, he said on the post game that it was to honor a coach that he had coached under and whatnot. So I was actually surprised he brought it back out for game 2. So I don't know, man. He might bring it back out.
Keep it going. I talked to someone today who's in Manhattan with the team, and I was like, man, I like that McMahon's wearing the suit again, the suit game. And he's like, it might not be a suit game tonight.
Okay.
It's like, we'll see.
Just break it out on certain occasions.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like the gold jerseys at home.
Yeah.
Big games.
Yeah.
Alabama State's not a big game, though.
No, it's not.
And
neither is ULM.
You wore a suit. This is the opener.
Yeah.
I think they should wear the gold jerseys at home every game.
I agree.
I mean, you got it. It looks good. Do it. Make it your iconic thing. And the purple ones are terrible. Just awful.
They're not great. Yeah.
The all purples. The whites are great.
Love them.
The golds are great. It's like Duke wearing black. Like Duke's home whites are good. Their road blues are good. Duke wearing black. It's like, what are you doing?
It's not your color.
That's like when LSU baseball decided to break out those black jerseys in the smoke era. I guess it was at the end of Skip, too.
Yeah, it was.
They did it at the end of Skip.
Oh, those were so bad, dude. God.
Yeah. You're not, black isn't in your color scheme.
The uniforms in general in that era were not good.
Well, it really got bad in the smoke era.
Yeah. And
the two-tone cap, the black and purple, the vests.
Oh, that's what I was about to go for. The pinstriped gray vest with black socks.
Bad.
Oh.
Bad. It's magnified by the fact that you have something that looks so good.
Yes.
When you have something that looks so good, do the thing that looks good. You listening, Matt? Not you, Muso, Matt McMahon. Instead of boot up, suit up. Hey, we're brought to you by Supper Club. Matt McMahon can wear that suit into Supper Club. You can. Remember, but you don't have to throw on a jacket. So one thing I tell people all the time, it's a big misconception. Hopefully we've helped to heal that misconception a little bit, where people think, I can't go to Supper Club, I don't have a jacket. I mean, if you're at work right now, like as I'm sitting right here, I'm wearing some blue dress pants, just casual dress pants, and a golf shirt. I could go to Supper Club dressed like this. You don't have to wear a jacket. Now, you want to throw on a jacket? I did. I went last Thursday, sat at the bar, had dinner by myself, really enjoyed it. I brought a jacket. I want to throw a jacket on. If you don't have one, no biggie. You knock off of work tonight on Thursday, want to get over to Supper Club? My goodness, go do it. Awesome. Look, they're booking for holiday parties right now still. So for your business, you want to have that Christmas party, you can reserve the private room. A dozen people or so. They can configure the room. I think when we went for my birthday this year, I think we had about a dozen people in there, but they can have even more than that if you need. But in any event, if you want to reserve an entire section of the restaurant, you could do that for a party, or they can rent you the entire building for your party. Give them a call over at Supper Club to learn more. By the way, if you're watching College Game Day this past weekend, Supper Club, of course, was the designated food server for the game day crew. So during the show, you got to see Chef Layton. He was cooking up that prime rib. He served the rib, the lamb chops, all the great stuff there for the game day crew. Well, on the SV pod, so this is Scott Van Pelt and Stanford Steve. Stanford SVP was not in Baton Rouge, but Stanford Steve was. Actually, last Thursday when I was at Supper Club, I saw Steve come in. He was part of the party that was eating with the ESPN crew. Thamel was there, and they were eating with Brandon. Anyway, this was on the SV. So listen, you can take my word for it or not. This was Stanford Steve on the SV pod with his experience at Supper Club.
Supper Club, this place, I can't even tell you how good it is. He's got Alaskan king crab legs sauteed. He's got the Wagyu from Japan. Like, it's the meat is like one of 11 places in the world you can get it. Like, he has gone to a level that is beyond anything we've ever had. Saban and McAfee said this is the best tasting thing they've ever had.
I mean, Stanford Steve, Pat McAfee, Nick Saban, these are worldly gentlemen. They are handsomely compensated, and they travel all over the place and dine in many different places. And they're telling you it's the best they've ever had. I'll tell you, I mean, you can go to New York City. You can go to San Francisco. You can go to Japan. You can go to Paris. Or you can go to Supper Club on Perkins Road. Get your reservation. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Oh, one real quick, Muse. No, I don't have time. I was going to talk. Matt McMahon inked the the fourth-ranked signing class in the country yesterday. Congrats to Matt McMahon. He has weathered the storm of of the job he took, and he has gotten this program, not just this year's team, but this program barreling in the right direction. As one former LSU coach said at one point, we coming. It's after further review. What to watch next?
After further review.
We're brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. Servicing the petrochemical refinery market since 1982. Y'all check out our friends over at Action Industries, actionindinc.com. Maybe you're looking for work. Of course, they're always looking for you. You can apply online. Go hit the careers tab at the website, actionindinc.com. That's actionindinc.com. Also, remember, they have fabrication shop services over at Action Industries, and they do exchanger tube cleaning. It's vapor abrasive blasting, so it cleans tubes at pressures less than 100 psi. So don't send your exchanger tubes to Texas to be dipped in a vat. It works, and it's much safer than the alternative, and it's proven effective by both Iris and the eddy current test. They got it over at Action Industries. actionindinc.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off the newly designed Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
All right, roll along here. Hour number 2. Elise Sterling in 10 minutes from right now will get his best bets for the weekend. Football weekend starts tonight with Thursday Night Football. Every Thursday, Muse, Paulie, and I give you 3 things to keep an eye on during your football weekend. We call it What to Watch. Let's do it.
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
All right, Mussolini, go ahead and start us off over there.
Yeah, and I'm going to start with tonight's game, as a matter of fact. This is arguably the best Thursday night game we've had so far this season, at least on paper. Eagles, Commanders, first place up for grabs in the NFC
Bro, did you watch
East.
last week on Thursday Night Football?
I did. But I mean,
that was Ravens, Bengals.
And it was a great game.
And it was a great game on paper, too.
Yes, but it also didn't have first place on the line in the division.
Dog.
I'm just saying, this can one-up that game. It absolutely can. Yes, it can. You got plenty of star power, just like you did in that game. Saquon Barkley, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. I mean, go down the list. First place on the line, though, makes this massive. It's the first of 2 meetings, obviously, between the teams. Man, you'd love to be able to steal one on the road, though, if you're the Commanders.
I'm going to head to the SEC. I'm watching Missouri, South Carolina.
Me too.
Missouri's quarterback Drew Pine looks to start for the Tigers, as Brady Cook's status in limbo. Luther Burden is Missouri's leading receiver with 45 catches, 505 yards on the year, but he has not had a touchdown since week 4 against Vanderbilt. Missouri has won 5 of the... Missouri has won... Missouri has won 5... the last 5 games in the series. Tongue twister there.
Yeah. Good job, Paulie. They're just words. Georgia, Tennessee. Since Paulie gave you South Carolina, Missouri, I'll give you Georgia, Tennessee. I am singularly interested in this because this is one of the key games LSU absolutely has to have in order to get back into the SEC championship race. You need Tennessee to lose. And if Georgia doesn't do it, then you're counting on Vanderbilt. I don't think that's going to happen. Could. Not counting on it. So I need Georgia to beat Tennessee. You're a 10-point favorite. Don't choke, you chumps. Go beat Tennessee, losers.
Ohio State look-ahead spot potential here. And before you say no, because they're playing Northwestern and Manny Diaz's team hadn't been great, I will... not Manny Diaz, jeez. He coaches Duke. I don't know where my head was there. Anyway, while Northwestern hasn't been great, I will throw out there, before the Penn State game, Ohio State had that look ahead and struggled mightily against Nebraska. This one's on the road against Northwestern. Let's just see, 20.5-point favorite. Is there any look ahead for the Buckeyes to Indiana?
Steelers-Ravens, battle of the top 2 teams in the AFC North. Steelers have won 4 straight and are one of the surprising teams in the NFL. Mike Tomlin, man. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, both having MVP-type seasons. Which team will walk out a winner and the division lead?
Okay. I ran across this earlier. There's a wild scenario for the Big 12 whereby they could actually end up with no teams in the playoff. Here you go. This is the doomsday scenario. If the conference champion has 2 or 3 losses, Army and Boise State both win out, there's a possibility Army and Boise State could get in, both of them, because remember, it's the highest ranked conference champions. So you could have the Mountain West champion and the American champion, not necessarily a Big 12 champion.
That is true.
There's a path whereby if the Big 12 champion has 2 or 3 losses, the Big 12 champion could be left out of the playoff. I'm just saying. Now, Army would have to beat Notre Dame, and I don't think that's going to happen. But an undefeated Army that beats Notre Dame and wins the conference champion, and an undefeated Boise State, they could be ranked higher than the Big 12 champion. It's possible. It's possible. Keep an eye on it.
Oh, that's a lot to take in. Okay.
But possible.
But possible, yeah. God, what a win that'd be for the group of 5 until they just got shellacked in the playoff. All right, speaking of the group of 5, they'd be in. Speaking of the group of 5, we touched on this in my takeaways on Monday. Navy and Tulane. This is a big game for the American Conference race. Tulane right now undefeated. Navy with that 1 loss. This could swing it. Tulane gets this win. They control their own destiny. We like to root for the state schools. See what the Green Wave and John Summerall can do.
Sure, yeah, why not? Go ahead. Go get them.
Chiefs-Bills, possibly the most anticipated game of the NFL weekend. If you're looking for the Chiefs to finally lose, this is probably the best opportunity you're going to have all season. Winner will have the upper hand for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Josh Allen, 3-1, head-to-head against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. But when it matters most, Patrick Mahomes, 3-0 against the Bills in the postseason. This game is in Buffalo, so could that give the Bills the upper hand this time?
Packers at Bears. Bears fired their OC Shane Waldron this week. Caleb Williams already halfway through his rookie season. Now he's got a new OC. Talked about it whenever they drafted Caleb Williams, and everybody wanted Jaden to go number 1. Talked about it here. Washington was a better situation. Now Caleb Williams, struggling, bad offense, new OC halfway through his rookie year. Keeps going badly. Maybe they fire Eberflus, new head coach next year. Big one at home this weekend with the Packers coming in. How does the new OC there, Thomas Brown, fare with Caleb Williams and the Bears at home against the Packers? That is what to watch. It's after further review. Of course, we're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Y'all, gentlemen, if you're thinking of popping the question, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where they have been helping Baton Rouge and all of Louisiana get engaged for more than 30 years. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Not just diamond rings, beautiful watches and timepieces, pendants, tennis bracelets, earrings. Make sure there's a red box under the tree this Christmas from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Okay, Lee Sterling, best bets next, AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, Sigan Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local over at Clegg's Nursery. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Would you look at that? I just pulled up their Facebook page. There's a big old empty spot there in that greenhouse. Look how empty that is. That's a big greenhouse, isn't it? You know what's going to go there shortly?
What's going to go there shortly?
What do you think's going to go there shortly?
Well, there's a certain season coming up where people need trees.
Preparations are being made. It's almost Christmas tree time. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery.
Let's talk turkey. Bayou Ford can get you in a new 2024 Ford F-150 with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off America's favorite F-150 truck. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Darin Rizzi. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagine.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Place your bets, gentlemen.
It's time to head to the window.
Don't gamble it all in one place.
This is Lee Sterling's Best Bets, brought to you by Paramount Sports.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Lee, how are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. Kind of a weird week. Canes, whenever college teams aren't playing here, they're not playing. They're off on the bye, and then the Raiders are coming to town. Have you ever seen a more dysfunctional team than the Raiders?
No, I haven't.
They brought it. You know, they brought in to help out this week.
No,
Norv Turner.
Wow. Hey man, Norv had a good run 30 years ago in Dallas.
Yeah. I had no idea he was doing anything. But I guess John Gruden signing with Barstool kind of precludes him from coming back, right?
That'll do it. He's got bigger fish to fry right now with Portnoy over there. I tell you, there's a lot of sports, a lot of football going on involving Louisiana teams for sure. A couple in the college ranks not involving LSU. Tulane and the UL Lafayette Cajuns, both touchdown favorites. The Green Wave against Navy, tough one there, and the Cajuns against South Alabama. How are we looking at those two?
So I like Tulane a lot here. They are going to face a team here, Navy, that you're saying, well, Tulane probably doesn't know how to defend Navy's option. Well, the coaching staff that came in, they played Army the last 2 years, and what did they do? They held them to a total of 9 points in those 2 games combined. So I think they'll be ready for them.
Okay.
I think Navy's kind of lost their mojo here. Also, they get Tulane that likes to run the ball, 64% of their snaps. And then what they do is they set up a bunch of deep shots. Their yards per attempt throwing the football, 9.6 yards per attempt, with a completion rate of almost 66%. I think it's going to get it done here. Navy's just not the same team since they fell apart against Notre Dame. I like Tulane here, 35-24.
A big winner there to cover the 7. What about the Cajuns?
The Cajuns look good. You watch their quarterback, Ben Wildridge, they didn't even think he was going to be the starter. I think most people thought it was going to be Chandler Fields. He is really good when he is out on a corner making a decision, running or throwing the football. Much more accurate than last year. In South Alabama, I was looking up, like, when I look at them, I don't see much difference when they've been good. But the problem is, I was shocked at this. They've been penalized the last 4 games for between 77 and 100 yards. They were penalized 77 yards in one game, 99 and 102 games. And almost every penalty is a big penalty. It's like, like on a 3rd and 2, and then they'll end up in a 3rd and 12. They have to punt the ball. They'll allow teams to keep going with a drive with, a late hit. Just not playing smart football. And I think that's the difference between these two teams, and also the Raging Cajuns, a little bit more talented. I like the Raging Cajuns here. I think they win this game, something like 31-14.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. A big one that everyone here is going to be keeping an eye on because, believe it or not, LSU still has a pulse in the SEC race. They got to have Georgia win at home against Tennessee. That number was as high as 13. It's come down to 10. Yep. Bulldogs bounce back at home?
I think that they probably are going to continue on their way. Why do I say that? I'm just watching this offense. The receivers are getting absolutely no separation at all. Carson Beck, 2 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. You just look at a quarterback, look at his eyes when he comes off the field. He's just not reading coverages. I can't explain what it is. He's going from probably a top 5 pick to a 2nd or 3rd rounder now at best. And I think the Vols do 2 things better than Georgia. I think their front 7 is better right now. And then I think they can run the football. They run it almost 64% of the time. And Dylan Sampson is the best back in this game. Over 1,100 yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. I'm going to call for the upset.
Woo!
Tennessee, 23-20. I like Tennessee plus the double-digit points. And I never will back teams where the offense isn't right. And Georgia's offense isn't right. And I like the under, 48.5 points.
Okay, under 48.5 as well from Lee there. ParamountSports.com. And by the way, you got a free play, which is tonight's game, Washington and Philly. How do people get it?
All they need to do is call 800-400-9741. Give it to them for free.
800-400-9741. 800-400-9741. Make the call super easy. I mean, it's you make the call and you get it on a voice recording. It really is that easy. 800-400-9741. A couple of NFL games that you like as well. Denver laying 2 at Atlanta. Denver are 2, or they're at home against Atlanta. Denver 2 against Atlanta. What do you think?
So I think most people thought that Denver's just going to run through them here. And I don't see it that way. I think that Atlanta has so much talent on offense. I like the fact that his team's coming off a game where, they should have won the game. Their kicker, they just missed 3 field goals. So I like them a lot here, Atlanta.
Okay.
Also, got to look at the fact that Denver, I think that their defense is wearing down. They've lost a key guy in the defensive secondary and also a key linebacker. So playing a lot of snaps here. The disappointment of them losing that game, I don't know if they can come back here. So I think the Atlanta, all that talent is going to stress the Denver defense. You're looking for a game where Denver just might bust. This is it. Atlanta, 28-17.
Could be a game 2 teams that both had this point. You're right about Atlanta. I mean, we're in New Orleans, and Young Waku misses 3. He had 1 block, but missed 2 field goals. It was wild to watch the Saints win that game. Speaking of the Saints, can they make it 2 in a row? They got Jameis and the Browns coming in. Virtual pick 'em. I think Saints 1 is what we're looking at right now.
I think that they can. They've got a shot here. Why not? They're playing a little bit better here. They're going to have to do something that I really haven't seen a whole lot of them, and that's get pressure on the quarterback. And you give Jameis Winston time, he'll pick you apart. And once he gets rolling, he's one of these rhythm guys. So I would blitz him early in this game. And if they can do that, they're going to have a pretty good chance. And then on top of that, I just think that you got a problem here with the defense here. So of Cleveland. So I think Chubb's going to run the ball a lot, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough. And then special teams, they also might be able to have an advantage there. So let's go with the Saints here plus the points.
I got less than 30 seconds. Quick thought on LSU, Florida?
I like LSU here. I have a feeling if Lagway plays, he's not going to last very long here. So let's go with LSU. I think they win this game easy.
Boy, they need it. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, ParamountSports.com. Get that free play tonight, Thursday Night Football. Call 800-400-9741, 800-400-9741. Lee's with us every Thursday. Thanks, Lee. Enjoy the weekend, man.
Okay. Take care. See you, man.
We appreciate it, as always. Good stuff there from Lee. Ooh, he likes Tennessee outright. Oh, I don't like that at all. Hunker down, you hairy dogs! You bums! Stand tall! AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows. Beautiful entry doors. Hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. It's Relief Windows. Nobody better. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Y'all, when I tell you about Relief Windows, I'm telling you about a leader in the entire Gulf South, not just in Baton Rouge. Over 2 decades now, Brandon and Adrian Holly have continued to build their business, their brand, their footprint that they serve, commercial, residential. I mean, they've done entire apartment complexes in Tallahassee and Atlanta and Memphis and in East Texas. And, of course, your home and mine. You know, one of the things I love to tell is when 10 years ago, we brought Drew home from the hospital, his bedroom window faced the street in our neighborhood. So one of the first things we did, we had Relief Windows come and install one of those soundproof windows just to make his room quieter. Just one of the many things that they can do to make your home more energy efficient, to beautify the exterior of your home, increase the resale value. It's Relief Windows. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. NFL Week 11 kicks off tonight with a battle for first place in the NFC East. The 7-2 Eagles host the 7-3 Commanders. ESPN's Jason McCourty says this game will test the Eagles' 5-game winning streak.
Is this team as legit going against a division opponent that's been rolling this year? And the Commanders, and for Jaden Daniels, you're coming off a game that you lost on the last second to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers defense beat up on them a little bit. How does he respond in his rookie year to a little bit of adversity?
Jason McCourty. Dolphins wideout Tyreek Hill says he may have surgery on his wrist, but it wouldn't be until after the season. He expects to play Sunday against the Raiders. The Tampa Bay Rays will play their home games next year at the Yankees spring training facility in Tampa. Steinbrenner Field can hold 11,000 fans. Tropicana Field was heavily damaged by Hurricane Milton more than a month ago. 40-year-old Lindsey Vonn is back with the U.S. ski team. The three-time Olympic medalist hasn't raced in 5 years.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tompley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Mike Triplett here in about 15 minutes. We'll talk a little Saints and Browns in a Thursday night football preview, bottom of the hour. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks. By the way, Otter's posts our picks are already up at LouisianaSports.net. If you want Otterlocks, already up at LouisianaSports.net. Tigers Gators from the Swamp on Saturday, 2:30 Central Time. Sean Kelly will be on the call, the voice of the Gators. Our good friends, good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Sean, great to talk as always, man. How are you?
I'm well, but, this good friend thing, I move away from Louisiana, and the only time you call is when the Tigers and Gators get together. What happened?
Guilty, man. I don't know. Hey, you know what?
Right.
Hey, let me flip it back to you. Since you've moved away from Louisiana, how many times have you called me, even when the Tigers and Gators are playing?
Bad sell, going through a tunnel. I don't know what you're talking about.
I love it. So good. Hey, the question everybody's asking here is about DJ Lagway. Do you have an update on Lagway, number one? And number two, just if he is limited or doesn't play, how does that change what Florida does offensively?
Everything. I mean, everybody asks me, like, what's the most important thing? Or I get the question, the Gators will win this weekend if, and I go, if DJ Lagway plays. I mean, that's the whole thing. Napier said last night that he's trending in the right direction. He has been practicing this week. I think they'll hold off on making an ultimate decision until probably Saturday morning. It's one of those things, Matt. It's a hamstring. So, like, one day you're like, hey, I'm pretty good. Whatever you're doing's working. Get up the next morning, sucks. I think it's been a good week, but I can't give you a definitive answer yet.
Yeah. So how does the offense change? We only saw a very small sample of Austin Warner, and quite honestly, last week against Texas was just brutal all the way around. Texas is a great team, and Florida's really limited personnel-wise. So do they change what they do, how the offense functions? I mean, obviously Lagway's a 5-star. He's an amazing talent, but how they function?
The base itself does not really change. What changes is what opens up as a result of what Lagway is able to do. everybody talks about dual threat quarterbacks. I don't know too many dual threat quarterbacks that can have the arm that Lagley has. I mean, reminds me a little bit of Jaden in some ways, except DJ's been really good with the big ball. And so you have questions as a defense. What do I do with the box? Do I load the box because he's a dual threat? Do I lighten that box because I don't want to get beat on the deep ball? And so the difference between the offense under Warner and Lagley statistically tells you it's yards per play, right? But all that is translated by the fact that if Lagley does one thing successfully, it sets up something else. I don't know if Warner has the ability to strike you one way to set up the other thing. It's kind of more vanilla.
Yeah. The other thing is both teams are going to be very likely missing a starting offensive lineman. We'll see about Garrett Dellinger from LSU. Same thing with Damian George, the starting guard for Florida. How big of a deal is that if he doesn't play?
Well, again, he didn't play last week, and it was against Texas and with Warner at quarterback, so I didn't get a great read on it.
Sure.
But George has been really good since he moved over to guard. Here's this guy that rolls in from Alabama. He's as big as an Amazon warehouse. You're like, this is unbelievable. He's going to be a great tackle. Well, it just didn't work out. So this summer they moved him over to guard, and now it's translated much better for Damian George. And as a result, this line, after the first couple of weeks, has really gelled and found their collective groove. Take George out of there, and you mess with the groove a little bit. So I think they're hopeful that George can play this weekend. If not, Bryce Lovett will make his second start. And there is a little bit of a drop-off there. Everybody else on that line seems to be healthy and ready to go.
If you flip it over defensively, I can look at box scores and stat sheets and national rankings, and none of it looks particularly like a Florida defense. I think LSU can certainly commiserate there. Where are they good defensively?
At the linebacking position. And then Triquez Bridges is a versatile guy who might have to play cornerback for a second straight week. He was really coming along as a safety, but they're so banged up in the secondary right now. They've got pieces in different places, and even against Texas last week, he had third-string guys out there, or Cormani McClain making his second Gator start, or beg your pardon, first ever Gator start last week against UT, which is as good as I've seen him all year. Defensively up front, they're back to where I kind of thought they would be back in training camp. Yes, they miss Lyons. I mean, that's a big story that nobody really talks about when he went down with that gruesome injury in August. But Tyreek Sapp's been really good. Jack Pyburn has been a huge lift since coming back from the ACL. And really, ever since that first bye week, Matt, the Gators' defense, for the most part, has been serviceable.
Okay. What about Grayson Howard? He's going to miss this game. What do they do there at linebacker with Howard out?
Yeah, Jaden Robinson probably gets more run, and he's one of the two guys with best tackling grades if you're into the PFF stuff.
Sure.
But he probably rolls in there alongside Shamar James. Again, Pyburn's been kind of a hybrid edge linebacker guy that's come on strong. Howard's a loss because he's been one of the more – he's not the best guy on the Gators defense, but he's probably been the most consistent. And so that's a little different there. But you've got some depth. You've got Derek Wingo. Miles Graham has been a really nice story as a freshman, played in all the games. He'll get more snaps this week. But you'll miss Howard in some ways. Shamar, though, is still there to call the action.
Sean Kelly's with us, voice of the Gators. He's on Twitter, X at Sean Kelly Live, if you want to give him a follow there. Vegas has this one 3.5, 4, somewhere around there. So special teams could come into play. How are the Gators in the third phase?
Vastly improved from a year ago. I mean, last year was an absolute horror show. They might have the best punter in the nation, Jeremy Crawshaw, and he's had a real good ability of flipping the field for the Gators throughout the stretch that they played better than when they didn't last week. But anyway, Crawshaw's been great. Smack has been above average. They've got a really good long snapper. You don't talk about that guy very much, right? But he's been perfect all the way through. He's a semifinalist for that particular award. And he has a knack for getting downfield and making a tackle. I mean, it's kind of crazy how well he does in getting down to the return man. And then they've really kind of done a nice thing with Jim DK, who's a tremendous punt returner and wide receiver. Sometimes they'll put him at gunner, and on multiple occasions this year, he's run down and caught the punt
inside the tent. So you don't really see that very often, but that's something that's served them well. So I think they're fine in that phase, and Crawshaw is the highlight of that group.
What's been sort of the mood there this week? Obviously, the game against Texas was disappointing, but the news that Billy Napier will be back, that's obviously a big story. What's it kind of like, Sean, at this point where I don't want to say it feels like a lost season, but there's been so much adversity, but Napier is going to come back. I mean, you're there every day. What does it sort of feel like around the program?
Let me give you the shortest answer I can on this. When Napier was on a real hot seat earlier in the season, the players probably had the opportunity, if they wanted to kind of give it in and maybe have some infighting in the locker room. They didn't. They wanted to play for Billy. They turned their season back in the right direction. The vote of confidence, if you will, was well received by the players. This group has the best culture since I've arrived in Gainesville. First year, not so great. Last year, a little bit better. This group I actually like being around a lot. That was one of the mysteries of the early season. What did I miss? Why haven't they started correctly here? But that character has come through with regard to their relationship with Napier and the ability to fight through the hot seat part and now all these injuries. They're getting guys back now from injury, and I think the vote of confidence having been well received, they look at these last three games as a chance to get bowl eligible. And if you think about Florida's schedule, that's an accomplishment in itself. And here's the final piece of this, Matt. All of Florida's best players are young guys on the roster, all Napier guys, and the future is now and with them moving forward. So it's not like you've got guys held over from the old program or have just had enough after 4 or 5 years. The guys that are producing are all the young guys, and they're pretty fired up right now.
Sean, part of the reason you might have missed it earlier as well, they played Miami and Texas A&M, who turns out those are pretty good teams. And that caused a little bit of the early bumps, but a tough finish. We'll see how it goes for the Gators. Tigers, 2:30 Central. Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators, will be on the call. Have a great call, man. I hope you have a miserable Saturday, but an otherwise wonderful rest of your week.
Matt, it's good to hear from you, and I appreciate your honesty as always. I'm ready for the losing streak to the Tigers to be over for the Gators.
And I am very ready for it to continue. You know what, Sean? I'll reach out to you Saturday if it continues. How about that? It won't even become on the OC. That's Sean Kelly. On Twitter at Sean Kelly Live. You'll give him a follow. It's After Further Review. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Healthcare for your lifestyle. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. You can trust my friends over at Decision Critical. When I say my friends, I mean that very literally. Blazer Rivette, the founder, owner, CEO, was a CV nurse who worked as a CV nurse when we brought Drew home from the hospital, and she helped take care of Drew, and my family thinks the world of her. She started Decision Critical about 10 years ago, and around COVID, they pivoted because COVID forced the world to pivot, and this concierge nursing service now has been an incredible lifeline and godsend for a lot of people. Maybe for you and for your family, it's an aging parent that's now living with you, and even though you're raising kids and working, you need help. Well, Decision Critical can help with that. If you're not familiar with concierge nursing, these are private duty nurses. They offer exceptional level of care. Every nurse, some 50 nurses on staff now, everyone handpicked by Blazer. They're not only in the home, they can come stay with you or your loved one in the hospital if need be, to be an advocate for you. And maybe it's end-of-life care in the hospital. They've had Decision Critical nurses stay overnight while maybe the loved one went home to get some sleep, to help you in your quality of life as you go through the toughest parts of life. DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com, healthcare for your lifestyle. All right, it's After Further Review. We appreciate Sean Kelly. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. Mike Triplett will be with us. Can the Saints make it 2 in a row? Mike spends as much time as anybody, and has for 2 decades now, around this New Orleans Saints organization. Curious what changes Mike has noticed now for 2 weeks since Darren Rizzi's been in the captain's seat. We'll talk about that next. It's
AFR.
Buy a ham, get a turkey. It's that easy over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. We're counting down how many days till Thanksgiving? What are we, about 2 weeks out from Thanksgiving? That's insane. That's 2 weeks. Is Thanksgiving 2 weeks from today? That's crazy. Thanksgiving is 2 weeks from today, y'all. Buy a ham, get a turkey. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham over at Rouse's and get a free turkey. Heck yeah, man. This is awesome. So fired up about this. Get your Butterball Thanksgiving turkey for free at Rouse's when you buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham for just $2.99 a pound. You'll get that Butterball Grade A frozen turkey up to 14 pounds for free. That's right. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham. Get a free Butterball Grade A frozen turkey for your Thanksgiving dinner. Limit one per customer with a $25 in-store purchase. Visit Rouse's.com for more details. Buy ham, get a turkey at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off the newly designed Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Let's talk turkey. Bayou Ford can get you in a new 2024 Ford F-150 with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off America's favorite F-150 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Mike! Yeah?
New Orleans Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football. Presented by Benny's Car Wash. Family owned and operated since 1951.
Mike Triplett, New Orleans Football, jumps aboard with us as he does every Thursday. How are you, man?
Doing good. Am I allowed to come on after wins? We hadn't talked about this in a while.
Merry Christmas. Absolutely. It's a holiday around here. You've covered the team for how many? 20 years? How long have you been there?
This is my 20th season.
Okay, so lucky guess.
So I had a 3-13 there at the beginning.
Oh, 05 was your
and a
first
coaching
season.
change.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was my first season. I covered, my first season in Louisiana was 03 covering LSU football in Sabin. So I came in like a lion.
Yes.
But now when I went to the Saints, my first season was Hurricane Katrina, San Antonio, Hazlitt, Aaron Brooks, 3-13.
Welcome to the NFL. Okay. How different has it been for 2 weeks around the Saints?
I mean, it's definitely been different as far as the energy level, and it was needed. And even Mickey Loomis, when I interviewed him last week, acknowledged, like, you know, even though he wanted to give Dennis Allen every chance, he said, I can't deny the difference in energy level around here. People have been, you know, it was Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And Derek Carr said, you know, it's we believed in ourselves the whole time, but it's hard to keep believing in yourself when you get punched in the face every week. So, the big differences were energy and all that, you know, and then there were technical things about what Darren Rizzi did in practice and everything like that. But, you know, another part of it is they just finally won a game, man. That's what this team needed so bad. Finding a way to win one instead of lose one. The fine line between wins and losses is so crazy. They had to have Younghoe Koo miss 3 field goals to pull it off. And the last time they played Atlanta, that guy hit a 58-yarder to beat him. So it's such a fine line between euphoria and depression around here.
How much do you credit the Saints breaking through and winning, and probably that game to Darren Rizzi?
I mean, you have to give tons of credit, and I think it was shaking things up too. You know, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from him, but I think it was all of it. It was they came into work and something was different, and they brought in a guy who maybe had some answers because the last guy clearly didn't have answers for getting them out of their rut, and they were showing up at work before thinking, well, nothing's going to change because it's the same old, and now it was the most dramatic change you could have made at all. And they all love Rizzi around here, and they all believe in Rizzi around here. So all of that was huge. But you know, at the same time, you still gotta have a good enough team to win a game like that. The defense finally played like we were shocked that the defense was playing so bad for 5 or 6 weeks. DeMario Davis was just talking about this today. You know, making a speech in the fourth quarter like, we've been within one score, you know, 8 of our 9 games this year, and we weren't making plays in the fourth quarter. And this week they finally did. So whatever gave them that rise, you know, the big question is how sustainable is that? Can they carry that? You know, was that because they shook the snow globe up last week, or is that sustainable?
Mike, how sustainable is that? Is it because they shook the snow globe up last week, or is that sustainable?
Hey, that's a great question.
This is why I sit in this chair. They let me ask good questions.
Well, look, there's more than changing head coaches, more than anything else, there's nothing more energizing than a win. There's nothing that gives you more momentum to start the next week. There's nothing that creates buy-in more than winning. So I think they feel great this week, and I think they feel like everything we're going to do in practice is going to be worth it, and it's going to work. And now they've got a pretty mediocre Cleveland Browns football team coming into the Superdome. So if they win that, then I think, all right, hey, this is working. And then they get a bye week, and they get a little healthier. And Eric McCoy's back this week. And, you know, I mean, this stuff can pile up for the good. But, you know, obviously there are some limitations that this team simply can't get past. Like, they don't have Chris Olave. They don't have Rashid Shaheed. They're never going to have Marshawn Lattimore or Paulson Adebo back this season. They're mediocre in a lot of areas. Their depth is a question mark in a lot of areas, regardless of who's coaching this team. So that can only get you so far.
So how big of a deal, Mike Triplett's our guest at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football, courtesy of Benny's Car Wash. How big of a deal is getting Eric McCoy back this week?
More than I think we ever would have guessed. I think him missing however many games he's missed has probably given him more credit, street cred, and recognition than he ever got before for his importance to this team, to be honest. I mean, and he is. I mean, he already made the Pro Bowl as an alternate last year. He was starting to get that recognition. I think Pro Football Focus went into the season ranking him as the second best center in the league. And this new offense that they've installed that requires athletic offensive linemen getting out on the move, he was making that thing go for a couple weeks. Obviously, he wasn't the difference between scoring, 47, 48 points and then all of a sudden going in the tank. But he might have been the number one part of it. Quarterback and Chris Olave are the only other two candidates.
Well, now McCoy's back, but Lucas Patrick hasn't practiced this week. So if Patrick can't go, who plays left guard?
Well, it'll still be Nick Saldivari, who's been doing it for a couple weeks. And, that's not perfect, obviously, but that's probably the smallest drop-off of any position from starter to backup on the line. And the biggest drop-off was McCoy to backup. So
no look potentially at Shane Lemieux coming back?
Possibly, but, after they did well last week with, and frankly, their run game has done well for a couple weeks in a row now, even that Carolina Panthers disaster. Alvin still had 225 yards from scrimmage or whatever it was in that game. They were averaging 6 yards a carry against the Chargers. So Nick Saldivari's done okay. You still prefer Patrick, though.
You mentioned the defense, the defensive change last week. Mike, I don't know that they actually were very good. They still got doubled up in their rushing total, got outgained by more than 100 yards. As you mentioned, Younghoe Koo, he had one block but missed 2 other field goals.
Yeah.
Are they really better defensively?
They're a flawed defense. This is not a top 5 defense anymore. It's probably not a top 10 defense anymore. But they made the plays at the end of the game. They had the Tyrann Mathieu interception on the second to last drive, the Chase Young sack fumble on the last drive. And that's enough to make the difference between a winning defense and a losing defense. Part of the reason Dennis Allen lost his job is because he's the commander of the defense, and the defense didn't make the play at the end of the Eagles game. It didn't make the play at the end of the Falcons game. It didn't make the play at the end of the Carolina Panthers game right before he got fired. So being able to make those plays in the big moments is world-changing.
I was on Twitter at Mike Triplett. That defense is going to face Jameis Winston coming back to the Dome this weekend. How do you think they match up against that Cleveland offense with what you know about Jameis and what you might know about Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland's not a world-beating offense, but they do have a few elements to worry about. Jameis Winston, for better and for worse, he'll go big play hunting. He'll give the defense opportunities at big plays. Nick Chubb is not Nick Chubb this year because he's coming off of that major injury, but they're coming off a bye week now, so he will probably be a little more refreshed to recharge than he's been. David Njoku is one of the more talented tight ends in the league. They've got medium wide receiver talent after trading away Amari Cooper, but they've got some decent guys there. So and a decent offensive line. So it's probably not a top 10 offense, but it's not a bottom 10 offense either.
What do you think the fan reaction will be to Jameis?
I think people love Jameis around here. I think they do. But I think they would love it if he throws some picks, too. As sour as this fan base got on the team, everybody likes to watch winning. That place, it felt like there were 30,000 Saints fans in there. There were a lot of empty seats, and there were a lot of red clothes. But when the Saints started winning that game, I swear some people left their houses at halftime and decided to come for the second half. Or maybe they were all in suites, or maybe they were all in, the gathering rooms by the bars, and then they decided to sit in their seats. They're like, "Oh, we're winning again? Go out in there, man."
Where do you fall with the fans that say, do you really want to win? Don't like the seat. You're not going to the playoffs. Do you really want to win, or do you want to lose? And I don't know. They're not going to tank, obviously, but would you cheer?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. If you could fast forward it and not have to watch it, you'd like to be like, tell me that all the bad things have already happened, but we can fast forward to the draft now and have the number 1 pick. But to watch them lose for 8 more weeks, and to watch the players who are going to stay on this team beyond this year have their spirits crushed, to lose the faith, that stuff's hard too. Yes, the number 1 pick, the number 3 pick, the number 5 pick, the number 6 pick is all better than positive momentum because that stuff doesn't really matter. But they're not going to tank. They're going to go out there trying to win. So watching them win games and watching the guys who are going to be on this, watching Alontae Taylor play great down the stretch, watching Brian Brzee play great down the stretch, watching Trevor Penning and Tali Falaga play great down the stretch, that stuff can carry over too. But, of course you'd rather have the higher draft.
I think they can and will play well, and I think will win this weekend against Cleveland. How many more wins do you think are on this schedule?
There's some bad teams on the schedule for sure that feel like opportunities for wins. Cleveland is one. The Giants are one. The Raiders are one. I think they can beat Tampa Bay. I think they're in the same class of teams. I don't know what Washington is. I don't think they can beat the Rams. I mean, there's a lot of them. There's not a lot of teams that they just can't possibly hang with left on this schedule. But you're asking this team to be consistent, and I just don't think this is a team that can win more than it loses. I think all tallied together, they can maybe go 500. I'd be shocked to see something like 6-2 to finish the season.
Yeah. I think they got 3 more wins, and it's the 3 you mentioned: Cleveland, the Giants, and the Raiders. Go 6-11 and see where you fall, if that's how it goes. But they got an opportunity this weekend. Just prevent Jameis from eating a W. Mike Triplett, New Orleans Football, courtesy of Benny's Car Wash. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.
We'll do it again next week. Brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com. We had our weekly Thursday meeting over there at Parrish with the owners, the partners. Actually got to hang out with my guy, Christian Geiger, from Avid Inspection Specialist, one of our great sponsors on Scone and Tea. Always great to have great relationships and a refer business and all that sort of stuff. But, one of the things that we're seeing a lot right now are homeowners that need a roof replacement, and they're taking advantage of the financing option that we have. We can finance your full roof replacement, so maybe it's not an insurance job, and you either don't have the cash or don't want to dump the amount of money it takes up front. We have financing options, and we can also finance your deductible. So there's some homeowners that have an $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 deductible, so it is an insurance job, but the deductible is still a steep price. Well, your roof is the thing covering your most important investment. Don't neglect your roof or put it off because you can't afford it. Let us work with you on those financing options. A lot of homeowners across the state are taking advantage of that. We'd love to help you out. parrishbuilt.com. Go to parrishbuilt.com. You see us where we are, right across from Blue Bayou on I-10 in Baton Rouge, right at the Highland Road exit. You'll see our sign at light lit up, our sign at night lit up. You go to the website, you see the video that Coach Mulkey did for us, doing a lot of work for Coach Mulkey and for her family as well. And literally any type of commercial job or an industrial job. If you got a leak with all this rain that's happened, and we'd love to help you out. There's nothing when it comes to roof that we can't do. So do business with someone you know. That's me and Richard Tilley and Ryan Terrio and Joe Morales and Trent Davis and our great staff. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Visit parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. All right, y'all. Been a great show. Glad to have you with us here. Brought to you by Decision Critical, decisioncriticalbr.com. We'll get to a Thursday Night Football preview. Another quick thumbnail on LSU basketball. They tip tonight at 8 o'clock Central against Kansas State on the road. And Otterlocks is here in about 15 minutes from right now. Otter 0 for 3 last night on those college football picks. Bummer. But he's got quite a few for us here for Thursday Night Football. We'll get to Otterlocks coming up here in about a dozen minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. 2 amazing hotel properties, Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. The Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet. Hey, look, maybe you've popped the question. You're starting to plan the wedding and the reception. Remember, you can have your wedding reception at the Renaissance Hotel. Their grand ballroom can host as many as 500 people, so it's a perfect size. Maybe you've got a fundraiser coming up in 2025. Maybe it's an awards banquet coming up. Whatever size event, maybe it's a corporate board meeting and you need, a dozen seats and a comfortable room for an executive meeting with all the technology. They've got you covered over at the Renaissance Hotel. Call Allison Crump over at the Renaissance Hotel, and she handles all of their events, and she'll tell you, we're in the business of saying yes. They will manipulate their space and get everything you need to make sure your event is awesome. It's at the Renaissance Hotel, right there on Bluebonnet near I-10, across from the mall in Perkins Row. It's the Renaissance Hotel right there on Bluebonnet.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust are bringing you the ultimate holiday gift with our Home for the Holidays sweepstakes. Imagine 2025 with your rent or mortgage covered up to $18,000. We're here to make your holidays a whole lot brighter. Just sign up at 1045ESPN.com and you could be living stress-free next year. The winner will be announced on December 20th.
Some of it is circumstantial, where it was by design early on, where maybe less, hits would be good. But past that, we're kind of back into, regular mode of how to operate and going through that. So I would say not circumstantial anymore, but there was less last week. And also tip our hat to Pittsburgh. I thought they did a really good job too. They've got a good defense, all 3 levels. And so I think that was a factor as well.
That was Dan Quinn talking about Jaden Daniels kind of running less in recent weeks. And let's just be very honest. He missed the Panthers game where he was injured there at the onset of that game. Played 1 drive and then was out. We all know with rib injuries, I mean, not that any of us are orthopods, but I mean, you may be. But what we've learned is there's no way to heal that faster. It's just time and pain tolerance. So, naturally he's going to run less. The week before they played Carolina, he ran against Baltimore 6 times for 22 yards. The week before that against Cleveland, 11 for 82. He ran 3 times for 50 yards against Carolina. He ripped off the big 46-yarder, but was injured. Since then, 8 for 52, 8 for 35. Last week against Pittsburgh, he was 3 for 5. So you heard Dan Quinn talk about it a little bit less. And look, Jaden's going to be asked about that not only this week, but really every week throughout his career as he continues to learn how to protect himself. And to, just for a point of contact and reference, it's the same thing that Lamar Jackson had to answer early in his career. If you run that much, can you stay healthy? Well, Lamar Jackson has been able to do it. Jaden's being asked the same questions now.
Feel good. Week in and week out, I feel good. I feel that I get my body back right to be able to go out there and play on Sundays.
What's your process for that? Has it changed at all since being in the NFL? Have you learned anything that's helped you do that?
Yeah, I think you take little tidbits from the vets, how they can recover throughout the week. Even more importantly, how can I recover throughout the shorter weeks and stuff like that. So just take tidbits, but for the most part, it's been pretty consistent.
Short week here, of course, Thursday Night Football. It's never easy for the team that has to travel. It's never easy for anybody to play on Thursday Night Football. I mean, you play on Sunday, and then you have treatment on Monday. Tuesday is an off day in the NFL. Wednesday is when you typically begin practice. So on a Thursday night, Monday you go get your treatments. Tuesday you practice. Wednesday, in this case, you travel, and then Thursday you play. I mean, you have one practice day. It's just the whole Thursday Night Football thing is such a farce for a league that tries to hype the player safety thing. It's such a contradiction. But anyway, I don't need to go down that path. But this is a challenge to go on the road. And the Commanders, as I think we're all probably pulling for the Commanders, Washington and Philly are battling for first place in the division. Washington 7-3. The Eagles are 7-2. They've already had their bye. So this is an opportunity for Washington to take take the lead in that division, surprising everybody. And when you look at Washington has ahead, man, like this schedule is so manageable. They're at Philly tonight, which is tough. They're home against Dallas, which is a train wreck. They're home against Tennessee, which is bad. They're at the Saints, which we've already had an interim coach. They got to play the Eagles again, but they get them at home. They got to play Atlanta, but they get them at home. And then they're at Dallas. Like, it's plausible. 7 left, like 5-2, 4-3. I mean, I think 4-3, if Jaden stays healthy, 4-3 might be a worst case for Washington at this point. And if that's the case, you're looking at an 11-6 football team with a rookie quarterback in year one. It's a big opportunity tonight for Jaden and the Commanders. See if they can go get it on the road in Philly. And how about all the fire Nick Sirianni talk? As much as that seemed like a certainty at the start of this season, Philly sitting there at 7-2 right now, atop the division. And they got the Commanders. They're at the Rams, at the Ravens, a couple of tough games, home against the Panthers, home against the Steelers, at Washington, then they get Dallas and the Giants at home. I mean, this is a Philly team that'll be in the playoffs, and we'll see if Nick Sirianni's got anything up his sleeves. I mean, not that long ago, they were in the Super Bowl. Can they get back? Can they get hot here down the stretch? Big one tonight on Thursday Night Football. The Eagles are a 4-point home favorite against the Washington Commanders. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned. In Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Remember, Sign and Drive is going on right now. Any vehicle, if it's on the lot, it's online. And with Sign and Drive, it's 0 down, 0 due at signing, no first month's payment, no security deposit. You sign your name, you drive away in a brand new vehicle from South Point Volkswagen. That's Atlas. That's Atlas Crossport. That's Tiguan, which is the compact SUV. That's Jetta, the four-door sedan. You can check them all out at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Remember, certified pre-owned as well, because they move more new inventory. They have more certified pre-owned inventory than anyone. That's all makes and models. South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, so we got Thursday Night Football. Also, we are 2 hours and 17 minutes away from tip. LSU, Kansas State in basketball. It's on ESPN Plus if you want to watch it. You can listen to it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Matt McMahon yesterday inked the number 4 signing class in the country. Amazing job by Matt McMahon, who weathered that storm of the job he took over to get the team into postseason a year ago, to have them even better positioned this year, and now signing the 4th best class, not in the SEC, in the country. Amazing job by Matt McMahon, and here was his take on stacking these good recruiting classes now.
Yeah, really excited about where we are in recruiting. I know last year, in the early period, we signed Curtis and Rob, and then we're able to add Victorious there in the late period. Ended up being a top 10, top 12 class, depending on where you look. I think our class, depending on what you use right now, is anywhere from top 5 to top 12 again this year, and want to continue to build on that. So when you're trying to build a program, you got to stack classes back to back to back. And then I know while it's early, just 2 games in, I think you see the impact of the 3 guys we brought into the program out of the portal, and Jordan Sears, Cam Carter, and Jai Bailey. So, really fired up about the direction and look forward to celebrating our signees tomorrow.
I mean, he mentioned the 3 guards they got out of the portal that are all, they've been the most impactful guys. And then he mentioned Robert Miller, who's a legacy. I mean, he's your big that opening night was handling the opening tip opening night of his first game as a freshman. So you're seeing the impact of the guys he's rolling into this program. All right, quick break. Otterlocks here to wrap up the show. What does Out have for Thursday Night Football? We'll find out next. AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, Injury Attorneys. All right, y'all, yesterday was the day that the window opened to apply for the Gordon Gives a bicycle giveaway. Gordon's given away 488 bicycles to children across the state of Louisiana. He tells the story, actually, as a matter of fact, it's on the website. If you go to GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com, you'll see it right there. Gordon tells the story that one of his favorite memories as a child was waking up and getting a red Schwinn bicycle on Christmas morning. So he wants to extend that joy to kids who might be less fortunate around Louisiana here this Christmas, as he does every Christmas. 488 bikes. If you want the opportunity to win one of those 488 bikes for a child, maybe a less fortunate child here in Louisiana, go to GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com. You'll see where you can enter. It's right there on the homepage at GordonGives.com. It's all courtesy of Gordon McKernan, Injury Attorneys. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Let's talk turkey. Bayou Ford can get you in a new 2024 Ford F-150 with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off America's favorite F-150 truck. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Learn more about all the great services that they offer at DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. All right, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Auto Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing good, Matt. How about you?
Really good, man. Great night in the NBA last night. Not so lucky in college football, but really good Thursday night football game tonight, huh?
How about our 3-0 in the NBA, 0-3 in the MAC, but the big one was really stung. We win by 13. We're laying 14. We missed the last 2 extra points.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No bueno.
That sucks, man.
Happens, man.
That happens. Got a great one tonight. I have to say, though, I've really enjoyed Al Michaels' just kind of, I don't know, cantankerousness. I don't know. I mean, he's a little crap. Man, when he gets a lemon, he lets you know about it. He gets grouchy, but he's funny about it. But 2 straight weeks. He was in a great mood last week with the Ravens-Bengals game, and we got a good one tonight. I think it's really cool to see Jaden Daniels on this stage. And, you know, because he's a complete quarterback and not doing it with his legs, he has actually reduced his running. And it's tough. It's tough for a guy that can really move like him to be settled and committed in the pocket. He's processing. He's throwing to all areas with a lot of accuracy. I mean, passes that have traveled over 40 yards or more, 5 of 7. That's a high percentage. 70% on passes in sort of the 11 to 15-yard range. He's on fire, man. I'm a little concerned that Pittsburgh held them to a season low for yardage last week. It was a tough loss for them a week ago. But, man, they have been really good. And the Eagles, too. The Eagles, after their problems early, they've won 5 in a row. Matt, this is just a case where this line is just growing. This was 3, then it was 3 minus juice, and it was 3.5. Now it's up to 4, and now you even getting a little juice back on or less juice that you're laying with Washington. I'm going to take the Commanders tonight plus the 4. I put out some prop bets on the website earlier. I do think that Washington has struggled a little bit in the red zone. Remember that one game against the Giants, they didn't even they won the game without scoring a touchdown. Under 2.5 Washington total TDs is minus 125 at DraftKings. If they will score, I think that McLaren is the guy. Great chemistry between he and Jaden Daniels. To score the next or the first Commanders touchdown, McLaren is plus 370. And then halftime, full time. Washington to have the lead at half, but Philly to win the game is a big plus 650. Teams that have come in on a roll, and especially Philadelphia, I mean, won so handily last week, sometimes they can coast into the next week and sort of fall behind a little bit. I could see Washington being, that's a big number. I'll take my chance at almost 7-1. There are some 7-1s out there on halftime, full-time, Washington, Philadelphia in that order.
You can get all the picks at louisianasports.net. Just click on the sports betting page. Actually, on the homepage as well for Otter Locks. We get those posted every day at louisianasports.net. So if you're not here at the end of the show or don't want to wait, you want to get in early, you can. Just go to louisianasports.net. All right, so the Otters got the – yeah, go ahead.
Colucci gave us some picks tonight,
Let's
too.
I forgot soccer! Okay, let's go. Let's go.
All right, little doubleheader. Devils took care of the Panthers the other night. He likes the Panthers to bounce back, minus $1.60.
Okay.
He's got the Winnipeg Jets plus money against the Lightning, plus about 25.
Yep, $1.20.
And then the Nashville Predators coming back a big price against the Edmonton Oilers. He loves fading the Oilers. Oilers are high priced pretty much every time, and only 8-7-1 on the season, so I understand why. So a little 3-pack on the ice for the Colucci man.
Are we going to start having Colucci picks on Thursday again?
Yeah. Just remind me when I come on. But he's been giving them. Our server was down, so he didn't have his pre-produced intro with the girl's voice, so he was a little upset that I had the intro in today. So he loves, Colucci man loves the our sound girl, our voice girl in his intro. So.
So he approves of the change from big voice guy to big voice girl. Big voice lady.
He was not, and I thought I was pretty creative and did a good job, and he was not happy with me. So he won.
All right.
1 minute remaining.
3 for Kaluch, 4 for the Otter, including the Commanders, plus the 4 you get at LouisianaSports.net.
I'll give you one little in Kenny White, long-time odds maker himself, on our side of the counter now, handicapping over in the college game tonight, the college football game, East Carolina.
East Carolina, Tulsa over 63.5.
Yeah, so in Colucci's words, a plethora of picks tonight.
A plethora. A plethora. All right, football.
He loves plethora.
A plethora. Football Friday at Rufino's tomorrow. Jimmy and Charlie, y'all check them out live at lunch. They'll be over at Rufino's tomorrow. You can watch the guys now 11 to 1 on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Thank you, Otter.
Good luck.
Same to you, man. We appreciate it. All right, it'll do it for us here. Thanks again to Decision Critical. DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com, concierge nursing, healthcare for your lifestyle. That'll do it for us. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
Spent some time yesterday over at the Williamson Eye Center. Was meeting with Amber over there, the marketing director, and got to visit as well with Kyle, who, if I tell you all the time about the consultation at the Williamson Eye Center, you're going to meet in person or virtually with Kyle. And she does an awesome job. This is something that initial consultation, max will take 30 minutes, max. Probably not even that. And you could do it virtually as well. So maybe you're in the car on your commute or on your lunch break. You don't even have to go to the office. You'll have that consultation with Kyle, and then you'll meet with Dr. Blake Williamson to make your decision. Basically, it's to vet to see if you're an option, if you're a candidate, what options you have first. And listen, something to remember for these end-of-the-year options, HSA, FSA. FSA doesn't roll over. If you have money in that FSA account, you're going to lose it December 31st. So check your accounts and start that process now. WilliamsonI.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off the newly designed Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking